Oh man, that's a tough one. That is probably I'm gonna go on a limb and say that was tougher loss than the Bengals one, and I mean that's saying a lot because Bengals one had me just sick afterwards. Um, yeah, just losing a game like that, just incredibly frustrating. I mean, what can you say? I definitely think they were the better team. The Rams were, but and look, we can get on the officiating all we want. The Rams should have won this game by multiple scores. They blew it, no doubt about it. But the officiating was terrible, and I'll get into that. Don't worry. I'm not against getting into the officiating. Trust me on this one. I think Craig Rolstad needs to be fined, maybe suspended. He's the worst official in the entire NFL. Week 18 against the Seahawks. Ring any bells? Yeah, same guy. But no, I don't want to be bitter. I want to give credit where credit's due. Steelers won. They did the things that needed to be done to win the football game. I'm not going to, sit here and say that the Rams lost because of the officials. That just isn't true. The Rams lost because, well, they didn't do enough to win. Whatever that takes, they did not do enough to win. There were some bad calls, but you get yourself in that position. That's the unfortunate thing. That's why we love football. I mean, football's so delicate because when you think about it, it's like, oh yeah, why didn't if we only had this call and this call, it's like, yeah, but now congratulations, you're talking about football. And you're always going to have those moments where it's like, man, that was some BS, right? But look, we know the refs are terrible. They've been terrible. They went on strike, if you remember. And then they were brought back and everyone celebrated them because, I mean, I'm old enough to remember. Thank you for subscribing. I can't even see who that is because I can't read apparently. But I'm old enough to remember when we had the replacement refs. And I don't know about you, but I definitely don't want to go back to no replacement refs. So I don't want to sit here and make excuses for the Rams. I don't think they really need the excuses. I think they're a good football team that just doesn't know how good they can really be right now. I think they're way too talented to be in these tight games. I understand the margin for error. I get that. I know that's going to be a buzzword or a buzz set of words that Sean McVay uses. But at the end of the day, guys, like this team has Matthew Stafford. It's got Cooper Kupp. It's got, Puka Nacua, which, by the way, we didn't factor in coming into the season that Puka Nacua was going to be one of the best receivers in football. Tutu Atwell. I mean, this offense should be way better, like way better. It shouldn't be scoring 17 points against a team giving up the 29th most rushing yards in the league, and I think they were like 22nd in passing. That's on Sean McVay. That's on the Rams. We could keep hearing, we got to figure it out. We got to do this. We had this structure and whatnot. I've watched all the pressers. I know how Sean McVay is going to approach this, and I have nothing but respect for the Rams, Sean McVay, their players. I'm not trying to trash anyone personally, but play-wise, this is not acceptable. This is not acceptable. I don't want to hear, they're better than we expected them to be, and they've won more games than we expected them to be. Well, I didn't expect them to lose this game, okay? I didn't expect them to go 3-4, and I didn't expect them to have just about the same offensive output as last year. I mean, say what you will, because last year was pretty bad if you didn't, if you forgot. But let's take a look, shall we? Because that's what we do on here. We don't just say things, though this might be true. No, we're going to look it up. So let's see. 2022 compared to 2023. Okay, so they started off. Let's see here, because I want to get this right, because I'm kind of the belief that this offense is just insanely, while they're frustrating as all hell, because we can all talk about that. We can all agree, right? This offense is frustrating as all hell. They got way too much talent to be this, I don't want to say pedestrian, but, Brad, thank you for becoming a bronze member. Appreciate you. Oriana, thank you for the 2. Appreciate you. Jason, thank you for the 20. This game is on Maher. Everything else happened because they weren't up 10. Thanks, Jake. I hope you got your new chair also. I did. It's right behind me. It's great. I needed it. It's good for my health. Anyway, won't get too much into the chair. I already see people rolling their eyes. I can already see it. But look, 2022, the Rams, okay, they only scored 10 points against Buffalo. They scored 31 against Atlanta. They scored 20 against Arizona. They scored 9 against San Francisco, 10 against Dallas, 24 against Carolina. Week 7, they actually had a bye last year. They scored 14 against San Francisco, 13 against Tampa, 17 against Arizona, 20 against New Orleans. Do you see where I'm going with this? Like 23 against Seattle. I mean, this is their ballpark, and it shouldn't be. They're better than this, man. They're better than this. They have way too much talent to be like. They have 30 points against Seattle. I don't think so. Nope. Last year, week 2, that team last year scored more points than any game the 2023 team has scored. They scored 31 in week 2. So look, I see 30, I see 23, I see 16, I see 29, I see 14, I see 26, I see 17. This team is just not scoring enough points. And you could blame it on Maher all you want, and let's be honest here, he missed the field goal and is probably going to get cut. He missed 2 field goals and an extra point. But it's more than that, guys. There's more to it than that. Okay? There's more to it than that, because when I see them running the ball with Royce Freeman and they're getting these yards, and I see them running it with Henderson, think about that drive right around the 7-minute mark. Why am I saying right around? I could just go and look it up. Let's go back. Play by play. It was the second to last drive, I would imagine. Okay. No, it was the last drive. They took up the rest of the game, 5 minutes and 28 seconds. The Steelers ate the clock after the Rams dominated time of possession. Because the Steelers, this is how this happened. Interception, touchdown. Touchdown Rams, punt Steelers. Missed field goal Rams. Touchdown Steelers, punt Rams, touchdown Steelers, punt Rams. End of game. Now, on that drive, I want to highlight this drive specifically because the Rams got to the 43-yard line. So you have 7 minutes and 20 seconds left on the clock. Stafford passing complete deep right to Cooper Kupp. You get a illegal contact penalty. I didn't think was illegal contact. But anyway, 1st and 10, LA 30. You get a 9-yard run from Freeman. Then you get a 4-yard run for Freeman. It's 1st and 10. Stafford incomplete deep left, okay? Then 2nd and 10, Stafford incomplete short right to Kupp. Then 3rd and 10, pass incomplete deep middle to Puka Nacua. 4th and 10, you punt. So this is the issue. You had 2 good runs by Royce Freeman on your final drive. You pick up that first down. And then you throw it deep down the field 2 out of those 3 times. I don't understand. I don't get it. This team is obsessed, and Sean McVay is obsessed with trying to, it's not even testing downfield. He only wants to throw downfield. Those plays take longer to develop. So Stafford is sitting there in the pocket, and it's just it's brutal, man. It frustrates me to no end. The Rams mismanaged this game. The Rams blew this game. I thought there were some key players. Looking at it, I thought first off, you got to give a lot of credit to the running backs. Both Royce Freeman, Darrell Henderson. Henderson getting in the end zone, rolling off his couch. Not really. Obviously, this guy was staying in shape. Like I told you guys, I wasn't worried about it. 18 carries, 61 yards, and a touchdown. I don't think the yards per carry average tells the full story. I thought he was very good when he needed to be, just coming right in there, immediately playing at a pretty decently high level. Was great in pass protection. You saw that huge blitz pickup. that kept a drive alive that allowed, Stafford to roll out and get the first down with his legs. Royce Freeman, I thought, ran with urgency, with power. He looked really good. He had 66 on 12 carries, 8 for 154. Puka Nacua have a day. But the problem is this offense isn't that creative. They may try different things out, but I already see in the comments section, like, that was a big issue of mine as well. No jet sweeps. And when you use bubble screens, you use them with Puka Nacua only. So everyone knows what's going to happen when everyone starts aligning in a blocking formation to the outside of the numbers area of the field, and you got Puka Nacua sitting here like this. Everyone knows, oh, it's Puka Nacua bubble screen that we're going to blow up. God forbid they try that with the guy with the best acceleration on the team and speed on the team potentially in Tutu Atwell. No, let's keep doing with Puka Nacua. That's not his game, by the way. So, yeah, this game's really frustrating. I'm going to have callers call in. Don't worry. I'm going to. This won't be as long. I'm going to do a better job of managing my time. These tend to be really long. Like, I do like 3 hours. I'm dead, guys. I'm going to be honest with you. I worked myself to the bone this week. That's why I was pumping out content left and right. I wanted to give you guys, I've taken a different approach, and I wanted to give you guys the best content possible. So I'm dead. I'm beat to hell. So I'm going to do my best. That game took a lot out of me as well. And I'm going to do my best to get through everyone I can. It's going to be quick callers. Okay, I might ask you one question. We're going to have to keep it quick because I want to get everybody up. But yeah, it's been a little brutal on my side. Not a lot of sleep. Up till 5 a.m. streaming last night on Kick. So, there's that. What I will say, because I have to say it, because we're trying to grow everywhere, I have a Kick channel, if you haven't already. Everyone on Kick, appreciate you guys as well. That's already over there. I have a Kick channel right now going on that's also streaming this. We do all 22. So if you're interested in all 22 breakdown, go and follow that Kick channel right there. I just dropped the link. It's pinned on YouTube. Would really appreciate it. We're at 759 followers. So yeah, would really appreciate it if you guys could go follow that. That's where we do the all 22 stuff. But yeah, look, through all of this, I don't want it to go unsaid. I thought Michael Hoyt was awesome today. Okay, I thought Michael Hoyt was awesome. He came out of the gates immediately. He led the team in tackles, had 2 tackles for loss, obviously 2 sacks. I was really impressed with him because I thought he played well last week, and I thought I saw less like dropping in coverage. But, you can't let like good performances like that just go away just because of the result of the game. I thought the Rams designed some great blitzes. I was really impressed with the way Raheem Morris dialed him up. And let's be honest here, it's a game of inches. And, if they complete that pass, get down to like the 50-yard line with Pickens, Donald's that close, man. If he hits him there, like that could have been an interception. Like that is what we're talking about, where this game, you learn to love it and hate it at the same time because it causes so much pain, but it makes the wins that much more worth it. And so just really, really impressed with what I saw out of Hoyt, really impressed what I saw out of guys like Aaron Donald, Ernest Jones. I thought Akello held strong. He was great on the final play that they called a PI. That's not a pass interference. He barely touched him, so I don't know how you call that. Furthermore, what's up, Nate Wright? I see you. Oreo, how we doing? Derwin V, Mark Xavier, Jay Wise, Robert, Rod, Michael, Craig, Rod, Kareem, Jack. Appreciate you guys. Appreciate all of you. I'm not going to say everyone's name because I just realized I have over 400 people in here on YouTube, and I have 18 people on Kick. So, but I appreciate you guys all. All of you, just know I appreciate you. But I want to, address the elephant in the room here, Darian Kendrick. I made a video, okay, talking him up, just letting you know, like, okay, statistically, he looks great. He needs to get better at those splash plays. He's given up at least one a game. And the penalties. Well, today, no penalties, but a splash play. And look, here's what I'm going to say. Obviously, all 22 is great and all. I can figure out already what happened. Darion Kendrick is in what looks to be a soft zone. It might have been, I think it was man, but actually, I don't know. It looked like he was in soft zone, but he ended up getting, he inched close to try to undercut the route. In that situation, man, you just got to tackle you let him catch it and just tackle the receiver. He tries to undercut it, and what ends up happening is that, whoop, you get a huge play out of it. And that was a big thing for the Steelers because this team needs momentum more than anybody. So that's what I'll say there. But, George Pickens was huge for them, went over 100 yards. Deontay Johnson went over 70 yards. I think right now the Rams are just a predictable offense, and their defense is really good. Like, when their defense is on, they're really, really on. But you can't just keep having these, okay, the offense is on the field, gets you all hyped up, and then they punt. I mean, how many explosives did they have where they just ended up punting the ball or missing a field goal? So I don't know, man. I don't know. Jordan, thank you for the 5. Appreciate you. Yeah, it's definitely, after that game, it's definitely painful. I'll say that. All right, let's bring guests on. Again, I'm not sure how long I'll be live, but I'm just going to try to bring everyone on. It'll be quick. I really probably am just going to go to sleep after this. I'm just super tired, so there's that. But yeah, let's bring on people. So got, probably be good if I actually had plugged into my, okay, there we go. Let's see. All right, Tasty Sauce 314, I don't believe has ever been on J Live. Well, I have changed that. How are you doing? You're muted, by the way, just so you know.
Yeah. How you doing?
Good. How are you doing?
Good. I mean, I wish I was looking at a win right now, but
I feel that. So, quick hitters here. I'm going to ask you first question here. What were your thoughts on the game? I guess just, leaving this game, are you concerned about the Rams moving forward, or do you think this was just a tough loss and not really indicative of what they are? And then I guess after that, just any other thoughts that you had with the game?
Yeah, this was a hard one because I was searching. I've been thinking since the game ended, like, what's one thing to put my finger on? I feel like every game this season, at least every loss or every victory, either or, it's been very easy to pinpoint, like, we won because of this, we lost because of this. This game was kind of weird to me in a sense that it was like, okay, yeah, the kicker, I guess, would be my biggest loser here, the ref as well, but I don't know. I don't feel great after this one because it's hard for me to kind of see, like, why didn't the offense destroy this game?
I agree. I mean, 29th ranked run defense, and I mean, running the ball 30 times wasn't enough. It only got you 17 points. So at one point, does this offense get out of looking like 2022? There's no excuse. Stafford's healthy, Kupp's healthy, Puka Nacua is better than any of us thought he'd be. Tutu Atwell, we know what he can do. No, I agree with you. I mean, I got to tell you, as somebody that's been, deemed more optimistic by people, I think you're going to see more of a realist side of me this week because I'm a realist. I'm not going to, lie and, say whatever, but this game really made me feel different. They could have won, but this is now a pattern. They can't finish games. Okay, they got rid of the penalties, giving up touchdowns at the end of, the first half, and then they throw a pick, which is practically a pick six because they get a touchdown out of it. It's just like there doesn't seem to be any sort of consistency with this team. It's all over the place, and that's not a good sign.
I think that's the problem, and it's a lack of consistency even in the way that they're losing. That's the problem. You can't pinpoint anything. I don't know. And I also, as far as the offense is concerned, I saw a lot of comments about Stafford and Cup and stuff. I'm not going to put this game on Stafford or really McVay. I mean, he did what I know he doesn't want to do in running the ball, and you got to give him credit there. But I do have questions. I saw you mention it earlier before about like what I feel like I haven't seen a jet sweep in like weeks. Am I
Yeah.
crazy or am I just not
No,
seeing
you're
things
not
happen?
crazy. I
Okay.
think they ran one with Puka like week 2, week 3.
Right.
I don't know. I don't know how you have Tutu Atwell and you're not running jet sweeps with Tutu Atwell and you're not throwing, those bubble screens to Tutu Atwell. Instead, you're throwing to a guy who has the least acceleration and short area quickness out of all of the 3 receivers. I don't get it.
Right. And from a team with a screen game that has been so dominant over the last 3 or 4 years to all of a sudden be so elementary is very confusing. And I feel like I never see, I think you were touching on it as well, McVay's routes are so deep.
So deep.
Like I feel like I never see the Rams run like a quick slant or a drag route. It's always some crazy, well, not crazy, I don't want to say crazy, but like some sort of deep out or some sort of deep in route or some sort of motion route. Like, and every other team just comes out and they're like, oh, Rams are in the shell. Okay, run a quick slant, get 15 yards. Run a quick slant, get 15 yards. It would just be nice to see my team run a quick slant and get 15 yards for once.
Yeah, it seems like they only run quick slants when guys are draped on them, like the Puka Nacua one. I will say this: I do put the game on Stafford. I think 14-29. It was indicative of what he has been, or the last couple games. I have not been overly impressed with him the last couple games. I will say.
Okay.
And I'm very, very high on Stafford. Like I really don't like, throwing him under the bus, but he was just kind of ordinary today. I mean, he made a couple huge throws, but in the grand scheme of things, a couple huge throws with a lot of incompletions, sailing passes. And I mean, I don't know, asking the offensive line to block TJ Watt and Alex Highsmith the entire game on, 29 passes and you're only sacked twice. Like, to me, that's not an excuse. Like, Nick Herbig got in there, Larry Ogunjobi got in there, but he threw it right at TJ Watt. That was another bad interception. And I do feel like, fans will say, oh, well, he only throws to Cooper Kupp. I don't agree with that statement. But there were times in this game where I was like, man, just dump it off to Henderson, dump it off to Freeman, throw it to Atwell over there. And he tried to fit it in a window to Kupp, and it's like, why? Like, I feel like this team is kind of just figured out right now. I think the Steelers kind of figured it out. We heard it in the first half, at the end of the first half in the broadcast when they said, I think he was talking to Stafford, and they go, Stafford picked up that they were showing pressures they didn't have on tape previously, and so they'll make adjustments in the second half, and I just don't feel like they did that.
Right. Well, and even when he is throwing it to Henderson, he's missing him, to go back to what you're saying about sailing the throws.
Yeah.
There's no consistency. I think that the key word is consistency. I will say one more positive from me from earlier in the year that we saw today, and as well the last couple games, is the running backs and the tight ends and the wide receivers being used in the blocking game as far as chipping defensive ends correctly. That's been very frustrating for the past couple years when you've got Skoranek one-on-one with, a super defensive end. But now it seems like they've finally gotten the groove where it's like, okay, you hit that guy, then run over here. Or you run into that guy, then go over here. So at least there's that to give you a positive.
Yeah, I thought the running backs played their tail off. I thought they were the bright spot of the entire day, to be honest with you.
Absolutely.
To have, and I don't think people understand, to have Henderson come off the street and have 18 carries for 61 yards. Like, the yards per carry average isn't great. I don't think it tells the full story. It's why I don't use yards per carry only. The touchdown tells you a lot. Guys a nose for the end zone. That didn't go away. It's 13th touchdown inside the 10. But I was really impressed with just the tandem between Henderson and Royce. I thought Royce did a really nice job as well. And I just don't think they're using the running backs enough in the passing game. And my hope was that, okay, like, Kyron's had some drops, and Henderson, we know what he can do in the passing game. So maybe they'll, no, it's honestly, Stafford doesn't want to do that. He wants to go deep down the field. That's what he wants to do. And that's what we see. He never wants to check it down. He doesn't even look over to Henderson. It's really frustrating because they're becoming a very predictable team. They use Atwell on that motion like Tavon, and they don't even really throw to him. He had one pass that was caught on 2 targets. That's back-to-back weeks where he caught a pass for 30 plus. And that's it. Right. So it's like, right. I mean, that's the thing. I think we were all really excited about the possibilities because you see what Atwell did at the beginning of the season. You're like, okay, he's legit. You see Puka Nacua, and now it's like they haven't really integrated them well at all when Cooper Kupp came back. It was like one guy feasts and the other 2 don't.
Right. If you're going to put the guy in motion, you should probably throw it to him a few times so that the defense has to pay attention to it. It's all just noise. It's the same thing with the motion from the tight ends in the blocking game for the running. I feel like it's a lot of noise that the defense just tunes out. They're like, whatever, it's not going to that guy, so I'm not worried about it.
Exactly.
I'll just hone in who I know is getting the ball.
No, I definitely agree. But man, I appreciate you coming on and getting us started. I know this is the first time you came on, so definitely feel free to come on anytime. It's fun talking with you.
Absolutely.
And,
Thank
you take care, man.
You do the same.
Thank you. Appreciate it. All right, guys, we're going to bring in another caller here. Blaze Blue Beats, how you doing?
Disappointed. Very disappointed.
I'm with you there.
But we'll say this. The Rams played great. They played great. But it's the fact that my dad's been harping on it. My dad's a season ticket holder, so we get to go to the games. We watch them all. But Kendricks and Maher, he's been harping on them, especially Kendricks for the most part. Kendricks been giving up big plays and holdings all the time. I don't know. Can he learn to stop holding, or can he stop doing that stuff? Because he's gonna end up losing his job.
Yeah, I mean, I thought he played a solid game until that final play. I know which one you're talking about. He tries to undercut the route. You just got to play smarter football. I believe it was 3rd and 8. You tackle the corner right there. It's now, 4th and 2. And I think he's trying to undercut the route. He's trying to make a big play. I get that. But this is why, back when the Rams had Janoris Jenkins, it's why he used to he'd bug the crap out of you because he was all or nothing, He would either come down with the interception and he'd be running it the other way, or the other receiver would be running it the other way. And I think with this defense that, their whole, thing is to be aggressive while, basically limiting the explosive plays over the top. I just think you got to be sound. You got to be disciplined. You got to be, working in your zone. And you can't allow that late in the game. And so, Kendrick can't do that. He continues to do that. But, it goes to the point I've been making. 97% of the time, he's great. But it's that 3% of the time that could be catastrophic. But I don't want to put the entire game on Henderson. What did you think about the play calling?
The play call, I think the whole game shifted when he went empty backfield to start the second half. I don't know why. You were running the ball. You just run the ball to start the game, and like you said, that was pretty much pick 6, but you didn't have to do that.
No, I get that. I personally hate empty. I do understand why they do it. I just don't like it. But I'm old school. I like the running backs in the backfield. I even like the pistol because it still gives you that single back set. And I like the usage of the running backs in the passing game. What I don't understand is we saw Jared Goff go from an 0-7 quarterback in 2016 who looked, in my opinion, he looked like he wasn't going to be a franchise quarterback. And then 2017 with Sean McVay, he looked great. And a main reason because of that is because Todd Gurley was the engine. He was the catalyst of the offense. And they used Todd Gurley so much in the passing game. And it's like, since Todd Gurley's gone, I understand you don't have Todd Gurley. You don't have a Saquon Barkley. You don't have somebody like that. But Darrell Henderson, Royce Freeman, they have pretty much made their living as guys that can work all over the field, whether they're running the ball, catching the ball, or, in pass protection. I felt like Royce Freeman and Darrell Henderson could have helped more in the receiving game, and I just didn't see enough usage there. And that's what bothers me, because I think it makes them really one-dimensional. Okay, let's not even cover Henderson. It's why he's always open, or like why Royce Freeman's open, or why Kyron's always open, is that they don't cover the flat because they don't throw it there.
No, they don't. You're right. They don't flow it to the running backs as, like you said, when Gurley was there, they would throw it out to the flat and let Gurley run by people. Ever since he's been gone, he hasn't really been doing that. And my dad's, like I said, he's been watching football for so long, and he's saying, like, everyone can see it. McVay's kind of becoming predictable. If the run doesn't really get going, he's just going to go pass happy mode.
Yeah, I was so worried about that, because there were a few runs where I thought, the Steelers had a nice run blitz that stopped, what could have been a huge gain. And I was just worried, like, as soon as they get a nice stop, Sean McVay going to go away from the run. And that's a scary thing, because when he gets in that tunnel vision, it's like, it's hard getting him out of it. But, I think just kind of wrapping this up, because I just want to get through it with everyone, but I appreciate you coming on. How do you feel about the Rams moving forward? Does this like really concern you? Did this game kind of change your opinion about them? Or, like, where are you on them?
I still think we're borderline playoff team, but it's kind of hard to know, because again, we're up and down. Defense played great today, with the exception of Kendricks, and then we would have won the game if it weren't for the missed field goals. So, because I thought we were out rushed. Actually, we out rushed them. We had more rushing attempts, so I was surprised. But I mean, again, you got to do something for your kicker or something. Bring in another kicker, because I don't know if we can rely on him.
Yeah, I think he might have lost his job, but Blaze Blue Bleats, wow, say that 3 times fast. Appreciate you, my friend. Feel free to come back anytime. You're more than welcome, and you have a good one, man.
Thank you. You too.
Absolutely. All right. Let's go. Leo Gonzalez 4, how you doing? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
How's it going?
It's going pretty good. I was actually the one that you were tweeting yesterday about the Kendrick tweet.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you look good right now.
No, but it's not about. I'm not calling it to talk about Kendrick. Kendrick is one player. I'm talking about the team.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the team in general, because, like, we're talking about the state of the Rams, and now they're sitting at 3-4 when they could have realistically been 5-2. Aside from the 49ers and the Eagles, like, I feel like the Bengals and the Steelers were very winnable games.
I very much agree with that. Very much agree with that. What were your thoughts on the game today?
Aside from Maher missing the field goals, I think that in general, I think the defense is always going to give the offense an opportunity to win the game. The problem is that the offense is not doing enough plays to win the game. They're very stagnant, and that's what's hurting the team in general.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you there. I think that, and this is the thing that I was very concerned with, because I thought the first game of the season was almost like fool's gold with the offense. And I didn't think that immediately. I was just worried that that's what it would be, because I thought the defense played really well. And I was like, you know what? There's a constant here. Raheem Morris and that defense has kept them in every game. And he did it just the same last year. And they had to play more soft zone last year because the offense was so pedestrian. But this year, they've been able to play more match zone, play more aggressive, because the offense is, in fact, better this year. However, the offense is still very much underachieving. Like, what they're doing right now, in my opinion, is they have way more explosives than last year, but they're getting the same results. They're settling for field goals. They're punting in territory when they should be probably going for it. They're relying too much on the deep passing. I mean, those routes take a long time to develop. It makes it harder on your pass protection, which let's be honest here. I thought the pass protection was pretty good today, and I just don't think Stafford played that well. But, what are your thoughts moving forward with this team? Like, how concerned are you? Because, like, currently for me, and as you know, because you follow me on Twitter, I'm more considered one of the more optimistic people. I am very much a realist. People don't believe that, but I'm more, people tend to say I'm more optimistic. Right now, I'm kind of like, I still think this team makes the playoffs because I think that's where the NFC is right now. I think everything is wide open. But this kind of makes me take a little bit of a step back. Like, they have the talent, we know that, but they're just not showing it, and they're losing games that they should be winning, to your point.
Is that they are losing games that they should be winning, and the problem is that you only get better by winning the games, because the experience of winning the games is going to take you to a certain point. And the fact is that after Cincinnati, we were like, okay, well, it's week 3. Now we're already in week 7. And they haven't fixed those same problems that lost in the Cincinnati game. The problem here is that they talk about it all like we need to, we know what we need to fix. Well, yeah, but actually when the time comes around, actually fix it. It's nice to after the press conference say, well, it's very fixable. And then for example, the offense every game they have 2-3 drives that you see the potential, but then they have 2-3 good drives, but then they have 7 bad drives. And you're not going to win many games only with 2-3 drives. We need more than the 2-3 drives in order to be a winning team in the NFL. At least that's my opinion.
No, I hear you. It's kind of ridiculous at this point. You can have those explosives. You could have a 30-yard, Puka Nacua hitter there and a 20-yard cup, and then, a nice 20-yard run by Henderson. And if you're not getting touchdowns on those drives, you have to at least get field goals, and there were times where they didn't even get that. And so, I think it led to that. But Leo, appreciate you coming on, and be sure to stop by next week after the hopefully they beat the Cowboys.
Real tough next week, especially the O-line and how they're going to be able to contain the Cowboys' pressure. If they're able to handle, and now I said that the key for the Cowboys and the Steelers was how you're able to sustain the pressure from the D-line. They did a decent job today. It just didn't reflect in points. And I also think that kind of affected the way McVay attacked the second half, because he was like, I can't set up for field goals because I don't have confidence in Maher anymore. So that really changed the perspective of how he was calling plays. And I feel like next week, if Parsons and everybody else starts getting pressure, it's going to be pretty complicated. It's going to be a lot tougher, especially being a road game. It's going to be a lot tougher. I think next game, Stafford's going to have to be a lot better in order for us to win the game. I think that's my opinion.
Yeah, no, I agree. Thank you so much for coming on, man. And we'll have to talk next week.
Yeah, hopefully after a win.
Hopefully after a win. Take care, buddy.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. Let's see. Ernie, welcome.
Hey, Jake, how's it going?
It's going, man. How's it going with you?
Oh, I don't know, man. I'm not feeling too good after that one. That game pissed me off pretty good, just to be frank.
Yeah, that's not one of those games where you come out thinking, like there is no what's the thing I'm looking for, because it was constantly being used by Niners fans that we were saying. I don't even know what I'm trying to say.
There's no tone with them, man. There's no tone with them.
Yeah, there's nothing good to take out of this game. Nothing. I think it's it's really just like when you lose a game like that, you lose it that close, and you are the better team. There's no moral victories. There we go. That's what I was thinking of. There's no moral victories in this one at all. Your Hall of Fame quarterback didn't look great today. I thought he made some really good throws at times, but in a nutshell, 14 of 29 was not great. The interception was awful. But at the same time, like, I think like the play calling I don't like those long developing routes when your pass protection has to go up against TJ Watt and Alex Highsmith. I just don't like it. But what were your thoughts on the play calling?
Yeah, no, you've mentioned that a few times, man. I'm kind of with you on that. McVay is so complicated. He makes things way harder than it needs to be sometimes,
Oh, I know.
and he gets stuck in his head just doing what he does. But yeah, man, sometimes it's kind of hard to get those long developing plays when you have TJ Watt on the left or right, and then Highsmith on the other edge. It's really hard to do that. I would love to see more screen game with the running backs. I would love to see that. Honestly, that would be really nice. And we talked about it earlier. The 2-2 motion, like that's kind of a staple in the offense. But we need to do something with it. Maybe give them a ball on a sweep or something, man. Like at this point, it's just they don't care. Like it's just for looks. So I would like to see a little bit more of that, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, I absolutely. I think it's like you added like the pistol formation, and now it's like, oh, see, we're good. We're creative. It's like no. There's more to it than that. Like this is a team that used to run jet motion so much, and then it became jet sweeps, and so you had Van Jefferson and Robert Woods and Cooper Kupp, and now it's like they just use Atwell the same way they use Tavon Austin. He's just that motion guy who will occasionally catch a pass. I don't think they've integrated this offense well since Kupp has come back. That's my biggest takeaway, is that I don't feel like it is a fully integrated offense. I think they need a bye week, like oxygen. They need a bye week. And I think maybe during the bye week they can get things together. But right now, like, I don't know. It's weird because they're in every game. It's not like they're getting blown out. But that's the frustrating part, is like they're close, but it's like we can only talk about this so much. You know what I mean? We can only talk about this so much.
I feel you. And, I'll say another thing, too. I've yet to see 4 complete quarters from this team. I know that was a storyline coming into the game.
Yeah.
But, I mean, good Lord, man. Like, we came out and, like, to start the half, like, setting up an empty, I was literally screaming at the table, or not the table, at the TV. Like, why are we in empty? Like, like, what the heck is going on? And, of course, TJ Watt makes a great play. I mean, he's a great player. But, like, I hated the look on that. And I watched McVay's presser after the game, and he mentioned something about it, too. So, I mean, he knows it was just – they put him in a bad situation there to even, start the half. So,
yeah, I just think that there is a lot – man, it's so rough because it feels like, and I always kind of felt this way with McVay, which is why I was always worried, like, this guy should win 5 Super Bowls, but what if he never wins one because he's so in his own head?
yes.
And, I thought that was like one of those things where against Belichick in the Super Bowl, he overthought it, and he did, no doubt about it. I think if that's a week instead of 2 weeks, like, I'm sure he had the perfect game plan, and then basically crumbled it up and threw it in the garbage can, and then went with the wrong play. You know what I mean? Like, that's how I feel like McVay is. And so I think that, the Super Bowl win in 2021 was a collective effort. You give him credit. But, like, let's just be honest with ourselves. This is still an issue. Like, McVay is one of the top coaches in all of football, no doubt. But as far as a play caller, he can be really good and he can be really cold. And I think today, like, you see some things and you're like, all right, I like that he stuck with the run, but it's like, I don't know why it's so hard to just stick with your strengths, stick with what's working. I still don't feel like the Steelers could consistently stop the run. The only time the Steelers stopped the run was when the Rams stopped running the ball. They had a couple plays, don't get me wrong, like they stopped Henderson behind the line of scrimmage. They had the one play on Royce, but like consistently, I'm talking running, 2 straight times, you were at least going to get 7 yards on those 2 carries. That's not stopping the run.
No. I will say I was impressed with the run game today, especially with Kyron being out and just El Hendo just coming back from the couch. I know he was working out quite a bit to be ready, but it's, one of those things, just getting acclimated to the game. But I mean, he and Royce, I mean, I was impressed. I'm not going to lie. I'm glad McVay, he ran the ball, I think it was 30-ish times, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, he ran it more than he passed it, and we were gashing him at times. I'll give him that today. That's what I can give him. And off topic, but I mean, Matthew, I know you were talking to Matthew for some of the other guys that stepped in here and talked to you, but like, man, he is just it's so inconsistent with him, and I get if he's running around all over the place, running from Watt and Highsmith again, but like that one, like before half, I believe is when it was, where he just kind of chucked it to Coop, and Tutu was there, luckily, to catch it and put it in. But I mean, that could have been a pick, you know?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think what I will say is that I think there's still, and it was, I think Diana Rossini brought it up. I still think Stafford is not 100%. Like, I think his hip is still bothering him. You could see it. There's somewhat, like, he barely got that out. I think it was thrown on purpose, but, like, it didn't look great coming out of his hand, the touchdown to Tutu Atwell. But, yeah, I'm starting kind of to feel like maybe he's a little banged up. And, like, obviously you get into the adrenaline of the game and you're not feeling it in the game, but it can still impact you, like, based on how you're throwing, and maybe you're overcompensating. Because when you're injured, you're overcompensating when you're still actively doing activities and things like that. But I guess the last thing I want to ask you here is just, what are your thoughts moving forward? Like, do you have any playoff feel for this team? Because I do, but I think there's going to have to be some adjustments. Where are you on them?
So I'm still a big believer in the team. We've got, I would say, a favorable second half schedule. I know it's not going to get any easier next week with the Cowboys. I mean, we've got Micah and DeMarcus on those edges. I believe we have Green Bay after that, which is going to be a huge, huge win. We really need to win that. Luckily, they lost today. The Saints lost Thursday. The Commanders lost. These are teams that are going to keep competing for that, 5, 6, 7. So
yeah,
these guys that we play later, which, just throwing it out there, I'll be at the Commanders game. So hey,
nice.
No, really though, they really need to figure it out, man. I need to see more consistency. I need to see 4 quarters. It needs to be complimentary football, as Sean says. Please go out and grab Robbie Gould, for the love of freaking God, please. Goodness. But yeah, man, I'm still seeing 9 to 10 wins somewhere in there. We'll probably grab one of those wild card spots, but these next few games are going to be huge, and we need to win those, most definitely.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Cowboys are beatable. I think the Packers are beatable. I think Seattle's beatable off the bye. Obviously, they already beat them by 17. I think the Cardinals are beatable. I think the Commanders are. I mean, the one game that I think is probably more dangerous than maybe even the Niner game, the Baltimore Ravens. I just don't like that matchup at all. I don't.
Yeah, they looked great today.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, when their weapons are healthy and you have Lamar the way he's playing, I don't like that Ravens game at all. The Saints, I think, are beatable. The Giants are beatable, but I think the Ravens 49ers are the 2 games moving forward where I'm like, I'm just chalking those up as a loss, and if I'm wrong, cool. I just, when that comes, I'm going to be very consistent in my approach. I do think they bounce back and they beat the Cowboys this week. I don't think the Cowboys are that good. I've never really felt like, I feel like they're the overrated team almost every year. It seems that way. Oh, well, they have this and that. I don't know. I'm not very high on them, but yeah, you're in the same boat with me with the playoffs.
Yeah, I would definitely say so. Like I said, man, these games are going to be huge. Though we need to win these some of these games for sure down the stretch. It's going to be. For me, it's in some of these games, it's going to be like a little coin toss. I'm with you on the Cowboys. I think they're a little overrated. They're just not great. I mean, Dak hasn't played good football. I mean, man, I don't know. It doesn't look good. As long as Matthews, getting some time to throw, I think we'll be okay. Which, we say that, but I mean, it's Micah Parsons. So.
Yeah, I was wondering why the pass rush wasn't getting home the way it should have on Kenny Pickett. They kept him pretty clean. But
that's been an ongoing issue, dude. I mean, that's got to be fixed. I mean,
even if they have to go out and get somebody, like, which I think they really have to, and I think they need to consider long term as well. But they need to.
I agree. When Aaron Donald's off the field taking those breathers,
dude, Lord,
they've got all freaking day. It's so frustrating. I can't stand it. I mean, they've got to find a way where they could just rush 4 or 5 instead of running these blitzes, and then you get our DBs in man coverage. Like, they're great. They've been playing great, but hey, I mean, we saw today, like, George Pickens had some good plays. Even Deontay, he had some good plays. I mean, they've got to figure out ways to get to the pass without, I guess being too leaving our DBs so susceptible to big plays.
Yeah. No, I hear you. But hey, Ernie, appreciate you calling in. It was nice talking with you. And be sure to stop by next week, man.
Yeah, most definitely. Thanks for having me, dude. I'll see you.
Absolutely. Take care.
You too.
Thank you. All right. Let's go with Mr. Jordan Phillips. How you doing?
What the fuck you're doing?
Everyone was asking, where'd Jordan go? It's like I haven't seen Jordan around. How you been, man?
Oh, what's going on?
Well, you know what's going on, but all jokes aside, I'm healthy. I'm
That's good, man.
feeling good. Probably in the best shape as far as the channel has been in, so I can't complain too much. Just wish the old football team got this win done. That's all I wanted.
Yeah, man. I mean, to be honest with you, I mean, even what can I say? I think only the Seahawk week, man, was the one that I really felt like 4 quarters and it was us. You know what I mean?
It's the only game that they played 4 quarters for sure.
Yeah. And then like this game, man, it's how can I say it, man? A lot of people want to blame the secondary. We need that pass rush, man. I mean, you can only do so much. Pickens is humongous. You know what I mean? He's a beast, and you got to give him credit. But truth be told, man, why did we let go of Gay?
Yeah, I think they just they didn't want to pay him top dollar or whatever. But I think the problem is
we're hurting for it right now, man. We should have won that with those kicks alone.
Yeah, and like the thing is, Maher was like they got lucky. Maher was available because he was cut by the Broncos. I mean, they would have had Tanner Brown. That's the thing,
That is bad at this point. Who really, you know what I mean?
But yeah, like, what are your thoughts moving forward? I know you're more down on them. We have a jersey bet. If they get 5 wins, you owe me a jersey. So
yeah,
I know
you're gonna need your jersey size, man.
Okay, see, there we go. Yeah, but
to be honest with you, man, I mean, to me, man, I think we could easily have been 1-6, 2-5.
And then the flip, they could easily be 5-2.
Yeah, because like even last week with the Cardinals, man, it's like if he doesn't miss that throw and because we got that interception, that would have been a touchdown right there. He was clear as hell.
No, I get what you're saying. I actually brought that up in all 22, and I know you're gonna get hate for it in the comments section, but I'm gonna defend you here for a sec because I watched it on all 22.
The Cardinals did look good. They did look good.
Who won today? Was it Seattle or Arizona? I didn't say.
Nah, Seattle ended up winning, but even then they were still in it too. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean the Cardinals are playing
turnovers. They never scored.
Yeah, the Cardinals are playing everyone tough. I mean, you got to give them credit. They don't have a lot of talent, so they're really just trying to at this point overachieve with what they have.
Yeah, they're pretty much. How can I put it? A few good things went our way. We could have easily been them. You know what I mean? Because they had that Giants game. They had who else, man? Against us, they had a few weeks that it went the wrong way and they got the loss. But I mean, truth be told, like it's crazy that everybody's thinking that like we're a good team. Like I think we're overachieving. You know what I mean? Like I'm happy as hell for the future. Like I remember I told you, first day of training camp. I went the first day and I told you, I said, hey man, Puka looks good, man. He looks huge. And shit,
I remember that.
I didn't expect that. You know what I mean? Even what he's doing now. But I mean his size, like in person, it's intimidating. His speed is deceptive. And like to be honest with you, man, like him putting it together is like it's exciting because it's like a big ass Woods, you know what I mean? I want to see him with some fly sweeps, you know?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think coming into the season, like I had it 10-7. I still think 10-7 is possible. I think tonight, what we really like know now, if this was ever in doubt, because I know some people were like, hey man, like they just got done with the really tough part of their schedule. If they beat the Steelers, they rip off wins against the Steelers, Cowboys, Packers, so forth. Like, they could make a run at like that division. I think tonight proves it's the Niners division. Like, if anyone was wondering if they had a shot, like, they don't. And that's okay because they just have to be in a top 7 NFC team. And Jordan, have you seen the NFC? I mean, have you seen the league? It just seems like no one wants to be good in this league. Everyone is just fighting to be like a middling team. I mean, if you look around the league right now, you have, I think teams kind of separate a little bit, obviously, because you have, a bunch of 5-win teams. You have a 6-win team, the Chiefs. But look at how many 3-win teams you have. I mean, the Raiders, the Colts, the Saints, the Commanders, the Rams, the Bengals, the Jets, the Texans, the Buccaneers all have 3 wins. And so, it's like, oh yeah, the Rams are 3-4. I mean, the Saints are 3-4. The Colts are 3-4. The Commanders are 3-4. And then, you look at like the Buccaneers and you're like, wow, they got the win today and they lost today actually. They're 3-3 and Houston's 3-3 and somehow the Jets are 3-3. And like the Bengals, who everyone was like, oh, they're done, is they're 3-3.
They do that every year though.
Yeah, they do.
Slow starters, yeah.
But then you look on the flip side of it. And so you see the Jaguars are 5-2. You see the Ravens are 5-2. You see the Steelers are 4-2. The Steelers, by the way, I want to bring this up. The Rams are plus 14 in point differential. The Steelers are minus 24. The Steelers have a negative point differential, and they might be the only team with a winning record. Actually, wrong. They're one of 2 teams, them and the Falcons. And the thing those 2 teams do very well is they hang around.
Yeah, they mug it up.
They play ugly football, they hang around, and then they win in the end. And that's
like Steeler football, though, man. It's been that for so long.
Oh, I know. But, I mean, they also had a really high-powered offense at one point, too. So to go with it,
Yeah.
But,
I feel you there, man. But, I mean, like, my biggest deal, like, when the season first started was, I mean, bro, I've been loving these foods since St. Louis. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, like, I was prepared for a bad season. Like, last year, I wasn't ready to accept it. And so it hurt way more than this year. This year, it kind of just feels like, I knew it was going to happen. But when they started ripping off a couple of the wins, I was like, okay, cool, overachieving. And, like, it was cool to see, like, the young guys actually step up and get their opportunity. And hey, big up to Royce Freeman. He's from my city, so he played really well out here. Yeah, so it was pretty cool to see everybody down here is hyped for him. So big up to Royce. But back to it though, man. It was cool to see Henderson, and I like what you said about the running back, because I had talked to you about this too. I would love to have McVay have a running back that he actually trusts. That's why I was hoping that we can make a trade for one of the big names, like. Like, I would truly love to see how things would have went if we would have kept. I mean, we would have got McCaffrey. Like, he would have got bad touches.
I'll say this: I think they would have gotten him if they made that trade this year, as opposed to the last year. I think last year they got talked out of it. I mean, I think the brass, they had the discussion. They're like, "Is this worth it?" I mean, just to try to cling to something, is McCaffrey going to give us 4 or 5 wins that we currently need? Like, and I think they just decided that he wasn't going to be worth it. And I think they decided right. I mean, he'd be great in the offense, no doubt about it. But at the same time, I don't know. I don't even know if he'd be great in the offense. I think he'd be a great player, but would he be utilized enough? I mean, you still have games where Puka Nacua doesn't show up last week. This week, Cooper Kupp doesn't show up. Tutu Atwell has 2 receptions in the last 2 games, and both of them are 30-yard explosives.
Yeah. It's funny to me, though, because if Puka would have caught that touchdown last week, the narrative would have flipped.
Yeah. No, that's true.
You know what I mean? A lot of people, they were down on him, but if he would have caught that touchdown, it would have changed a lot of narrative. I mean, people's fantasy teams would have been looking better, because I'm pretty sure that's what they were mad about. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
But
and that's the thing. I try to always limit my fantasy exposure and betting, and always just kind of push that to the side and focus more on the football aspect of it. Because you're right. I mean, I think people get really emotional about their fantasy teams and whatnot, and then they lose sight of like who's really good, who's bad, and so forth. And so,
Yeah.
I think today like really goes to show you. And I'm gonna get to other people in here just because I want to go to bed. But
yes.
but
Yeah.
but I'll just say this, man. You know, Royce Freeman, Darrell Henderson, for anyone that was questioning me as to why that Darrell Henderson and Royce Freeman would get run because of the pass protection, look at what they do. Like Zach Evans would have been just completely a fish out of water based on how their offense is. They are complicated. They're checking out of runs constantly, and if they check out of a run, you can't just say, "Oh, we'll have Zach Evans in on rushing downs." Okay, well, congrats. Now you're Cam Akers, and now everyone's going to load the box when you're in. But here's the thing: you also can't do that with Evans because Evans can't pass protect, right? So if you check out of a run, now Evans has to be that pass protector, and he can't do that.
Yeah.
So I thought they did a nice job today. Freeman in the receiving game. The first rep, I was like, what the hell was Freeman doing? He just whiffed. But I think ever since that rep, he looked really good. Henderson looked really good. They ran with power.
It was a while since Royce played, so you know what I mean. I kind of felt like he was
a
little in awe, you know.
Well, I mean, I also think that's it's going to come with time. Like I think if they can roll with this dual backfield, go 15 carries a pop or more, and I think they'll be fine. I mean, I just think they need to stick with the run. And when you have opportunities like, okay, 7:20 left to go in the game, when you can make this just a regular drive and you have an opportunity where you don't have to take too much time off the clock, you're not in the 2-minute drill, you can just run your offense. Like just run the football, you get 2 first downs or whatever with Royce, and then once again you're going back deep down the field, long plays that take a long time to develop, 5-7 step dropbacks, and it's like that's not the best way to do things, you know what I mean? And so
I think that has a lot to do with Stafford too, because if you look at his Lions days, he was kind of like that too, you know what I mean? Like he would I think he would defer to those. So I don't think it's all McVay. I think it's a lot to do with like, hey, you know what? Stafford has a lot of control in the offense, a lot more than Goff did. That's why I think like a lot more of these plays were probably it looked a lot better when Goff was there, because I think it was completely on McVay. But now I think Goff, not Goff, but Stafford being a veteran, being borderline Hall of Famer, they're probably like, hey, you know what, man, if you see something, go with it. You know what I mean? And that's just his DNA. He's always gonna be that gunslinger. So I think that's gonna be him, just through and through. We just gotta accept it.
Yeah. Oh, it's tough. It's definitely tough. But hey, Jordan, appreciate you.
One more thing.
Oh yeah, go right ahead. I don't mean to cut you off.
If we lose next week, do you think we start unloading and start looking towards the draft, or do you think they'll still look a little bit further and just ride with the team?
I'll tell you exactly when they would do that.
Deadline, what, on Halloween, right?
Yes. So here's the thing. Okay. The Rams aren't going to unload anyone at the deadline, based on what I've heard. The only chance here is that they beat Dallas and they look good, and there's a justification where, okay, this team can go far and get to the divisional round of the playoffs. If they have that justification in-house, a trade could be made. But they're not going to. They're really trying as best as they can not to get rid of their first round pick under any circumstances. Yeah. That's why I don't buy into the Brian Burns thing. I don't think he's available.
We need Williams with our top pick, Jake.
That's not going to be an option.
Williams with our top pick, baby.
I gotta be honest with you. Like I don't know if I even want Williams, because I think Stafford has more. Like, what are you going to do? Are you going to trade Stafford? Like, I don't think you can just.
Nah, man. I mean, I think you just let him sit and what's it called? Do it old school. I mean, quit rushing all these kids and expecting most out of them. Just let him learn.
He wouldn't sit though.
Hey,
he's an eccentric personality. He would not. No. He would not allow that, man. He would be
We
like,
don't know.
it would
We
be a
don't know.
quarterback controversy. He'd be like constantly talking to the media, like, yeah, like, I want to start. I'm here to
If
start.
if it's there, then yeah, let's go with it. But I
But
mean, if we live in a
he's not an
perfect world,
option though.
hey, I can dream, I can hope.
Yeah.
And all like
yeah.
I said, man, he's already got all the little boys in LA. You saw the stadium today; it was full of Steelers. I'm just looking for the day that we can have a packed stadium the way like the Lakers got it, the way the Dodgers got it.
It's just
I
gonna
want all
take
these little,
time,
I know. And if we got that quarterback, all these little kids are gonna go. You know what I mean? They're all gonna transfer over. All the alumni from SC, they're gonna follow us. So that's why I'm like, man, I'm hoping for that. But hey man, have a good one, Jake, and talk to you again. Let me know on your jersey size, big dog.
Will do. Thank you, my friend.
Have a good one.
All right. Okay. Let's man. It's already an hour. Okay. Let's see if we can get through this pretty quickly. We'll go with Eric here. Eric, how's it going?
I just realized I was muted. I'm so sorry.
No, you're fine. How you doing, man?
I'm not doing very good. How are you doing?
Hopefully it's because of the Rams, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
it is.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
I wish my mental health didn't
Yeah, I know.
depend so much on this team, man. It's just I just can't. I hate it.
This sport is a love-hate sport. It genuinely, it's gripping, man. It's gripping, and I just
Yeah.
think like it's just so hard because I mean you have people that invest all week into it. I mean, definitely like myself, puts almost too much time into it. And then you see the outcome, and it's like when they win, it's great, but when they lose, but you gotta keep that same energy, and it's like it's hard to, man. Like this game definitely hit me. Like I was like, oh, come
Yeah,
on.
my head legitimately hurt for like 30 minutes after the game because of how upset I was. Like it's just, oh man, I hate this.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of those wins where like, okay, I understand the 49ers are going to win. I understand probably the Eagles were going to win. Although I kind of had a feeling that, maybe the Rams could win that. And sure enough, I mean, the game looked like, yeah, the Rams had a shot to win, but the Eagles outplayed them. The Bengals game was brutal because they absolutely had no excuse to lose that game. And then when they lost today, I was like, how is this somehow hurting more than the Bengals game? That's what I don't understand. I don't know, man. It's very brutal, but at the same time, you just have to think like they just won the Super Bowl like not that long ago. They got one of the best coaches in football. They got one of the best quarterbacks in football. They have a bevy of weapons. Their defense is playing lights out as well as they can, obviously, considering the offense hasn't been the most productive. But, there's a lot to like here long term. It's frustrating because you're like, you see, the Bills go down today against New England Patriots, and you're like, man, this is the league right now. Like, this is wide open. Like, if the Rams just won 2 of those games against the Steelers and the Bengals right now, like, we're having a completely different conversation, and, but that's not what happened. So let me ask you this. 2 questions here, because I got to hurry, man. I'm trying not to pass out on camera. But 2 questions for you. First off, where are you on this team? Can this team still make the playoffs, or did today kind of deter you from believing that?
So what I saw from today really discouraged me from thinking that we not only like would make the playoffs, but even if we did, would win a game. I'm sure, I'm sure they can do better than this, and I'm sure they will. They've always recovered in the past. Like I pointed out last week, the whole November of 2021, like they can recover. It's just I hate that things like this have to happen, and I hate that we have to go through it as a fans, and we have to watch all of this not great product. They don't design any plays for Tutu for some reason. They aren't as creative on offense as they should be. There's no jet sweeps. There's no end arounds. There's no like the motioning. I feel like has even been less. They've been motioning more with Puka instead of Tutu now. I I just don't think at this very moment, until I'm proven wrong, that this is going to be a successful playoff team this year. Um, it didn't look great today.
No, it didn't. The only the really big redeeming quality is that we got to watch what happens when they run the football and they actually consistently run it. And I just there's a lot going on. I feel like I need all 22 to fully understand the whole picture, and I'm sure a lot of people feel that way, but it's just frustrating because I definitely feel like they should have won this game. And it's no knock against the Steelers. I have more respect for them than probably any Rams fan because I watch a lot of their games. But today they probably didn't deserve to win the game, but at the same time, this is what they do. They stick around, you make a mistake, and they're right there in your rearview mirror, and that's what happened. I mean, yeah, we can talk all we want about the officiating, and it was absolutely terrible. And Craig Rolstad should probably be investigated because of last season against Seattle, Week 18, and now this. But look, you can't blame the referees for everything, okay? The Rams put themselves in this position. They had all those explosive plays, and they got punts and missed field goals out of them. So, I mean, when you have those drives, you gotta capitalize, and they just didn't do that.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, the refs are terrible. Rostad or whatever his name is should be investigated. Should be fined. Just like that.
He's from Seattle, by the way.
Just oh my gosh, just like that freaking Boston Celtics ref against the Lakers, he was getting investigated and had to resign. So like this stuff should happen.
The LeBron James at the block.
Yeah,
oh
yeah,
the
one where Beverly came out and pointed at the camera.
That was amazing.
but just like you said, it's not all going to come down to only the refs most of the time. Michael Jordan has a famous quote. He goes, if the game comes down to a call, then you didn't ball. And I am a big believer in that. The Rams could have put this game away regardless of what the refs did. Brett Maher could have made at least one of those field goals. I liked Maher in the beginning, but I can't deal with a kicker missing critical field goals, 40, 50-yard field goals like that when you're going to give the other team really good field position. I don't know. The only other kicker I know on the free agency market right now is Robbie Gould. I don't know what's going to happen if there is anyone else besides him. I don't know if even the Rams are going to move on from Maher at this point. Who knows? I hate having a kicker that isn't reliable. It's the worst.
No, I agree with you. Last thing to wrap this up here. I guess just any final thoughts.
I really like the way Henderson looked. Hendo looked quick. He looked really good. He made some few jump cuts. I wish they involved him more in the passing game like they did in the Super Bowl, and I feel like that only even happened because everybody else got injured in the Super Bowl. But I feel like Hendo can definitely do more than what they did. I think it's more about conditioning. And Royce Freeman looked good. I kind of wished Zach Evans got a few touches, but I understand why he didn't. And the O-line looked fine. I mean, you're up against an elite rush in the Steelers. The only guy who really messed up was like Shelton, and that's because he fell down and held.
Yeah.
It's hard to even really think where everything went completely wrong besides Maher and like a few plays led up by Darion Kendrick or the couple back shoulders led up by Akello. But those aren't even I feel like those aren't big enough to be a reason for losing. You know what I mean?
No, I hear you. I'm sorry, what were you saying?
I'm just saying I feel like there wasn't one thing besides you could say like Maher missing a bunch or the refs or whatever that really led to us losing. It was a bunch of small mistakes like Higbee dropping the ball, that holding call by Shelton, Cup with those two drops, defense not making critical stops in the last two drives. I mean, overall, it wasn't a great game, and it sucks that's how it is.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Absolute bummer. But we move, right? We move on to next week. Hopefully, I see you on here next week, Eric. I appreciate your patience, and you have a good night, man.
Yeah, I'll see you next week, Jake. You too, man.
Appreciate it. Take care.
You too.
Monty, how's it going, man?
My brother Jake.
How you doing, man?
Man, we was in the background talking like crazy, having a hell of a conversation. We was waiting to see people get pulled in, like who going next? Oh, this one hurt, Jake. Like this one hurt, bro. Right? It's like I was telling people in the back, bro. Like we can't. The field goals is what killed us, right? And I know he threw the pick, Stafford threw the pick and things of that nature, but missing the field goals, giving them that good field position, man, where they can march down and things of that nature. Third downs, it's like, bro, come on, bro. Right? Cooper Kupp, only 2 catches. Shouts out to Puka. Puka did his thing. But, man, this is one that we should have won, Jake. This is another one that goes down where we sitting up here saying, how did we let it get away? And it hurt. You know what I mean? It really do hurt.
Yeah, it's a tough one, Monty. It's one of those ones where I'm gonna be honest with you. I mean, even me, I've been really high on this team, and I just felt like today I was like, all right, maybe I'm too high on this team. I don't think it affects my win-loss prediction. Like, I still stand by the fact I think they'll win 10 games, but there has to be like a response. Like, this isn't acceptable. They need to beat Dallas. They need to beat Green Bay. They need to go in that bye, figure a lot out. Then they need to come out. They need to beat Seattle. They need to beat Arizona. They need to go on a run, because this whole winning one, losing one, winning one, losing one, you can't get into a rhythm that way. They need to get into this winning streak, and then I think that's when they can kind of carry on. But the thing that bothers me the most is, like, they didn't lose this game because the Steelers dominated them. They didn't lose this game because they didn't show up. They didn't lose this game because of Kyren Williams being injured. They lost this game because there was a collective bunch of things, but most importantly, they shot themselves in the foot. And I just think that that's just really frustrating, because that they have the talent, and it's just like, man, why is this team only dropping 17 against the 29th ranked run defense and the 22nd pass ranked defense? It's just like, I understand. I said it, the Rams can throw on this team. They can run on this team. The reason why I believe that they can lose this game is because of TJ Watt and Alex Highsmith. And I thought, for the most part, TJ Watt, obviously the interception, which was kind of unforeseen, but for the most part, I mean, I thought the Rams held them in check. So the pass rush didn't even dominate the game and flip the game on its head. But it was just, it was really brutal. You can kind of tell right away that it wasn't going to go well, because they just weren't getting these touchdowns that they need to get. They were kicking field goals, missing them, punting. I do think Sean McVay, like, he trusts his defense, and I get that, but I just think he has to, like, read the room a little bit better. That offense, like, sometimes, like, just getting a stop on third down, the what we oftentimes see, Monty, is that, like, a defense will get a stop on third down, and it's kind of fluky, right? Like, sometimes you get lucky and it's an incomplete pass and it's just a bad throw and you didn't even affect it, but you're punting, so it's a stop, right? Well, sometimes you got to leave your offense on the field, and sometimes you just got to go for it. And I feel like just, there have been times where Sean hasn't done that. But anyway, Monty, what are your thoughts on this team? Because do you still think they're like a playoff team like I do, or do you tend to disagree?
Yes. I'm going to tell you, this is what I am, Jake. I am a believer through and through until our chances are over, right? When we look at our team, it's no game where we got outplayed. Not one game yet where we was outplayed and just bullied, where we look like, oh, my God, that's a shitty team, man. Look at the sorry Rams, you know what I mean? We're not the same sorry as Rams like the 49ers used to call us. We're not that team, bro. We are a good team like we are. And y'all can say whatever y'all want. We are with the elites. I'm going to go out. I'm saying this. I'm not just sitting back. I'm not joking. I don't just say this to be saying it. I believe we are with the elites. Every game we lost, we could have won, right? At least we can be, what are we, 3-4? That's 7 games. We can be 7-0. We can be 6-1. We can easily be 5-2. easily, right? So when we looking at the games, we just not like you say, Jake. We just not being consistent. And like I just told the boys in the back, Sean McVay has to be aggressive. He's not. He get too conservative at times, right? Like you try to play too much perfect football, bro. Like no, sometimes you gotta drop your nuts. Sometimes, Sean. Like, bro, you are a Super Bowl coach. You've been to the Super Bowl twice, right? Nobody's going to question you, or your job would not be in jeopardy if you miss it on fourth down or something go wrong. You're not one of these coaches that's fighting for a job, bro. You are a genius, So have two plays ready, third down and fourth down ready to go. Okay, that's third down. We already know that we're going on fourth, so let's get this short or whatever we get because we're going for it. So it's like you are Sean McVay, bro, and you have the personnel and the players to do those type of things, bro. But he has to be aggressive and believe in it, right? Like he always talking about belief. Like Sean, come on, bro. Like there's no way we should be leaving games like this off the table. Like we at home, right? Credit the Steelers travel and all that. Okay, I get it. Shouts out to them. Respect to them. But this is a game that we cannot let go. Like this one that we know we got to have in the books. He got to think that way. So it's like, man, you have to be more aggressive at times to let us know that, listen, we going out here for the fucking win, boys. I believe in you, boys. Go out there and figure it out. Do some Phil Jackson shit. Figure it out. You know what I mean? Figure it out. And if it fails, oh well. We're going to stick behind you and say, shit, well, that's what we wanted. Right? So it's just like, games like this we need. But like you say, Jake, we still in the business of still making the playoffs, right? Because we're not too far back. 3-4 ain't too bad. 1 from 500 and 2 from being 1 over 500. So it's not like teams just blowing things away, right? So before we do get to that point, we have to go on the street, like you say, and we can beat Dallas. Dallas ain't too much more better than us. People not looking at Dallas saying, "Whoa, their offense is just amazing," and they going out here putting up 30 points a game, and you know what I mean? No, they're not that type of team. Defense, credit to them, but we see that defense had a meltdown where you can call the defense up as well. Find Michael Parsons, right? Game plan for him because he's a game record like Aaron Donald. But it's not like they got the greatest defense and the greatest offense, right? Green Bay, look at Green Bay, right? We see what happened with them. We better than those teams, in my opinion. We are better than them, right? So it's not like they too much better than us. So we have to figure out a way to get these two games to be 5-4 by the bye. We have to get these two games. We have to get these two games. No ifs, ands, buts about it, Sean. Right? We need somebody in that locker room to say, look here, man, we're not losing these damn games. We're going to get it. And just hit that switch. But we are an elite team. And I know people in the chat right saying we're crazy, I'm smoking this, but we are an elite team, bro, and we're going to figure it out. And until we out the playoffs, or what they said, oh, well, the Rams have no shot because that's what's the last game, we want to make the playoffs. And once we make the playoffs, anything can happen with a dangerous team like the Rams, as long as we're healthy. But Sean got to figure it out. He got to be more aggressive.
Yeah, I think, Monty, you look at Sean McVay's career through the first 7 games. 2017, they're 5-2. 2018, they're 7-0. 2019, they were 4-3. 2020, they were 5-2. 2021, they were 6-1. 2022, they were 3-4. And now, of course, they're 3-4 the first 7 games. I think this is the crossroad right here. This is where it's not easy, right? You got 2 road games going into a bye. It's not easy to win in Dallas, but they have to get this thing done. They have to, because this is when last year you had it over and over and over again with Sean McVay. This is not who we are. This is not who we are. Yeah, it is. That's who you are. And we saw that. We don't know what this team is, but 3-4 is not a good spot to be in right now. It's not awful, right? But it's not good. It's not like positive. And so I think, Monty, this is the most important game of the year, I think, because now they're at a crossroads. Last year, they went 3-4. Going into the bye, they were 3-3. So you were thinking, okay, they're going to be fine coming out of this bye. They literally lost 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in a row. They went 3-9. So the Rams got to respond here. And I think that's a key thing. Is this team going to be like 2022? Or is it going to step up and show everyone, all the haters, that they were wrong all along. And I think they just have to win 7, Monty. They just have to win 7 more. They got, 10 more weeks to do it. I think when you look at this team right now, 3-4, I still think this team can win 7 games. I still do. That's 7-3 the rest of the way. I mean, if you think about it, the 3 losses that I could see them having, genuinely see them having, San Francisco, Baltimore, and Seattle. Because I think, Seattle will probably split that series because they're a good football team. But they should beat Dallas. I think they are better than people realize, and I think that Dallas is overrated. I don't think they're bad. Overrated doesn't mean bad, but I think Dallas is overrated. And so I think Dallas is overrated. Green Bay doesn't have Rodgers. Doesn't matter that they're at, Lambeau. They don't have Rodgers. I don't think Green Bay looks that great. So I think they should win that. Going to the bye at now, it would have been great to not lose to Pittsburgh, but you did. So you go in the bye at 5-4. You come out, you got Seattle. Say you drop that 5-5. You beat Arizona 6-5. Beat Cleveland 7-5. Lose to Baltimore 7-6. You beat Washington 8-6. New Orleans 9-6. 10-6 New York. And then that 49er game is probably just for seeding purposes at that point, but you're in the playoffs. So, I think that's kind of where I stand right now, Monty, is that I think it's definitely possible. I lean towards the 7 wins. I think they're going to get it done. I think the Steelers game, you learn more in your losses than you do in your wins. The hope is they're going to bounce back from this. I am concerned, but I think they are going to get it together. And I think the bye is just going to be so important for them. So if they can win these next 2 games on the road, which, by the way, I believe we've gotten to the point where the Rams are a better road team than a home team. And so I trust them more on the road than at home. And I think they're going to win the next 2, Dallas and Green Bay, go into the bye and get it figured out.
That's right, my brother. That's right. And Ike Taylor, God damn it, you talk TJ Watts up on an interception. I say, this goddamn Ike Taylor just sat there with Jake and talked about TJ intercepting balls and doing things that other linemen don't do. I say, ain't this about a beat? Man, but yeah, Jake, this one, I ain't gonna say it hurt for us, hurt like they're just I hate losing these caliber games, bro. Like, it's just not us, bro. We better than that. And to say that we was 3-4 last year through 7 games and we are a better team than last year, that shit kind of stings a little bit. It really does. That one kind of stings a little bit. So it's like, I think we're going to turn it around, boys. I have nothing but the utmost belief, right? I know a lot of y'all looking at the glasses half empty, but I'm a half full type of guy, right? I'm going to keep my head high, and I'm going to keep motivating us as Ram fans, man. Like, as long as we getting healthy and things of that nature, like, credit, we didn't have Kyron Williams and Ronnie Rivers, right? We didn't have big-time chunks of yardage in a run and things of that nature, but we were still in the game, and we were still doing what we're doing because we have a team that believes and they can figure it out. I just want Sean to get more aggressive, man. Get more aggressive and go for it, like you say, Jake. Lead the offense on the field at times and say, hey, let's go do this, boys. Matthew, you're a veteran quarterback. You've been here before. You have the boys on the outside to Puka and Cooper and Tutu and them boys, the Higbees, like, go out there and make it happen, man. So, yes, we got to figure it out these next 2 games, and I believe we will figure it out. And about a bye week, we should have a smile on our faces, Rams, and 5-4. 5-4 going into the bye, and then we'll go from there. But first thing first, Jake, Dallas. That's it. Like, let's get to Wednesday. Let's get this out the way. So get to the big practice, Thursday night football, to where we can get this one behind us and then focus on Dallas. So one game at a time, and, things are going to work out for us, my brother. But I'm going to let you get to the next caller. I appreciate you, Jake. Once again, shouts out to the Rams chat. Jake got the best Rams chat in the world, right? And, man, I don't know, Jake. It's going to hurt. It's going to hurt tonight, man. It's going to be a long night. And I'm over here. I haven't ate, Jake. So it's like hunger strike again right now, man. Hunger strike, But I appreciate you, my brother. Continue doing a great job, man. I wish you nothing but more great success. DTR, Downtown Rams, and everything you do, my brother. Much love, Jake.
Hey, appreciate you, Monty. Always a pleasure to talk with you, and let's get through this week.
Yes, sir, my bro. Man, it's gonna be a tough one, bro, because the I can't look at no football all the way to Thursday, bro. I don't look at nothing, no highlights, no nothing, all the way to Thursday, and then it should be out of the system, man. But video games, YouTube, little boxing, and whatever else that come along, my brother. But I'm gonna let you get to the next caller, Jake.
Sounds good. You take care, man.
You too, my brother.
All right, appreciate you. All right, let's bring on Falco here. How you doing, man?
I can't hear you right now.
Can you hear me?
Yep, I can now hear you.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that wasn't grand, was it?
Yeah, that was not a good win. Oh, sorry, good loss. My bad. But yeah, first off, Brett Maher, not only did he gave up 7 points, but he also gave up very valuable field position as well. I think that Brett Maher's done. He's done for. You can't just give up 7 points like that, and on top of that, give up all that field position away. Also, I know for a fact that Darion Kendrick's been going through some stuff recently, and maybe that's why he hasn't been having that good of a game today. But dude, it is also a pattern of him just letting off explosive play after explosive play, and penalty after penalty, just costing us massive defensive drive.
Yeah, I mean, I thought he played pretty well. You just really had that one play that
just the explosives.
Yeah, I mean, it goes back to what I said, man. 97% of the time, this guy's playing great, and it's the 3% that's catastrophic, and it's just. Yeah, I mean, that's what gives me excitement about him, because I think long term he could be really good. And he's already having a really good season. But yeah, today to try to undercut that route, that was,
But that was not smart.
No, he shouldn't have done that. Where are you on this team right now, by the way? Do you think they're a playoff team?
I'm still hoping that they're a playoff team. This loss makes me really think back and think okay, can we actually beat Dallas? Can we beat the Ravens? Can we beat even Seattle again?
Yeah.
It makes me think back to okay, are these actually winnable games, or are we just gonna blow up our opportunities?
Yeah,
it's
tough.
His stuff. I think that we need to get a new kicker now. I think we need to make. I think that Duke Shelley should start. Him alongside Akello, and then possibly have THT playing that slot CB role. I think that could be a very good cornerback trio for us right now, because I don't feel confident in Akello solely because of those not Akello. Akello had a bad game today as well. He did not look like Akello we knew for the past 6-7 weeks. Akello looked rough today. And then I'm just worried about our offense just being just in last year, where we just never finish out the drives. We always either punt or kick a field goal, never producing those touchdowns we need. So I'm a lot more concerned than the last couple weeks about this team because of that, because of everything I mentioned.
Yeah. So I guess, how'd you feel about the running backs? Because I thought they played really well.
I thought so too. I thought especially Henderson played very well. And now then, Royce surprised me on how well he played, but dude, Hendo, he showed up.
Yes,
he showed.
He definitely did. That's not easy to come right off the street that.
Literally, he came off of the street, and then he's immediately starting pretty much. Has 18 carries, has a touchdown. Like, that's impressive shit. Like,
yeah. No, I agree. Imagine what he can do now with a full. I mean, he didn't even get a full week because he was signed, I think, Tuesday. So,
yeah,
that's the thing. Like, just imagine what he can do, with a full week now. No, I'm excited. I think it made them better. I think Freeman played really well. Going against Dallas, there are a way better pass rush, but like the run defense, I think, is solid. Like, they're not. You can run on them. They're not going to destroy you. They're not going to eviscerate you. They're not like a Niners, a Seattle. Right. But yeah, I mean, it's not exactly easy to run them. So we'll see next week with these guys, because if they can run against that team, that's going to help big time.
Yeah, I think that we can barely beat Dallas, because I don't think that Dallas's offense is that good. If I'm being completely honest, like, Dak hasn't been.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't think that like many offenses are going to get like the drop on this defense. Like, I think as long as the Rams offense can
produces points.
Yeah, if they can put up like 23 points a game, the way like they've been doing, like if they put up 23 in this game, then I think it changes the defensive complexion throughout the game. And I think the Steelers probably don't put up 24. You see what I'm saying? So
right.
I think that the defense gives them a shot in every game. And I think Dallas, like, I don't see like a blowout, because the way they play defense and how well they've been able to play it without a pass rush, it's been really incredible when you think about it.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So, any final thoughts?
Final thoughts are we need a new kicker. I think that Duke Chili should start over DK as of right now because of those explosives. I think it's that McVay just needs to have a bit more play calling going on. I think him trying to develop these long plays is really hurting Stafford's mental as well, because as Stafford's waiting out for all these long form plays, like it's like his offensive lineman can't hold up forever.
No.
So seeing these long form plays just really, I think, gets it to Stafford's head, and that's why he made that dumb throw to TJ Watt, because I just thought that he was looking for that long drive, then he just boomed. So I think that we need to change the play calling up, so that way it's more quick, like 6-7 gains, instead of looking for those like 30-yard, 40-yard big explosives.
No, I agree with that. But hey, Falco, appreciate you, and
appreciate you too.
I will. Let's say I will not be playing. I don't think I'll be gaming tonight.
All right.
I'm very tired from staying up till 5 a.m. It's I'm still paying for it, but appreciate you, man, and I'll see you soon.
See you soon.
All right, let's see here. Rusty, how you doing?
What's good, Jake?
Not much, man. What's good with you?
Such a disappointing game.
Yeah, that ending was brutal.
Raheem, man, like McVay is fucking over Raheem, bro. It's at a point it's comical, man. Like Raheem does everything in his power, and of course they're gonna freaking blame him for this loss. And I gotta feel bad for Raheem, bro. He's doing the fact that he's able to keep us in the game with the amount of players we got like at his disposal, and McVay just somehow manages to fuck it all over. And Stafford too. Like seriously, man, like. You gotta help him out. Like it's ridiculous. And McVay, it's the thing. It's like the same shit every week. He gets in his head. I don't know if he's mentally there or something, but he has to give a play calling because you were great. You were running handle. You were running the ball so well, and then passing, and then of course, they get dumbfounded with these stupid miscues. Like seriously, man, too much motion, too much wasting the timeouts, like. Bro, this ain't your rookie year, Stafford. Like, it's embarrassing. It's pathetic because How you have Puka literally risking his whole body out on the field just for you not to at least make some fucking points out of the game. Tutu, Stafford was lucky. Tutu was able to break off with Joey Porter or Levi Wallace. He got lucky right there. That was not his best game, but of course, people are gonna cut him slack because he made scores. But it's the offensive miscues that really are screwing us over because offensively we're probably a really good juggernaut, but McVay and Stafford, they just got to get their shit together because I honestly feel bad for the guys who are like playing their ass off the offensive line. I know they didn't do their best, but they're doing the best they can, and it's frustrating. It's the same thing every week, and you gotta McVay and Stafford gotta get their stuff together because these next coming weeks, if they keep doing the same exact thing over and over again, at this point, it's not going to be on the players. It's going to be on them too. Because Raheem does everything in his power to help us, and McVay doesn't want to help him out. And it's things like this that really piss us off because we can win these games, one possession games. And of course, we screw ourselves over. Why? Stafford decides to force feed Cup, and TJ Watt, nowhere to be seen, picks it off. Kill our entire momentum.
Yeah.
And what else?
Well, I like the way they responded, though, on that next drive.
Yeah.
I just think
defense, too.
Well, I thought it gets to a point where it's like you're on the defensive side, you're on the sideline as a defense. You see this offense is 9 of 16 on third downs, has 19 first downs, has more yards, 54 more yards than the other team, is running more plays, is running more clock, is just better. And for whatever reason, they just can't get it done. They can't score points in the red zone. They can't, they were 1 for 1 in the red zone, but they weren't really getting into the red zone, right? Like at the end of the day, they were kicking those field goals. They were, 4th and 5, they're kicking the field goal. It's painful because you're not getting those field goals aren't, connecting, but it's painful regardless when you're just settling for field goals. And it's just I don't know. It's really frustrating because I myself, when I'm watching this team, I just can't really, and I know football, I watch a lot of film. I can't comprehend how a receiving room with Puka Nacua and Tutu Atwell and Cooper Kupp and Tyler Higbee and so forth, they're combining for 231 yards. I don't know. 154 of that is Nacua. How does that happen? The 2 drops earlier in the game with Kupp. I don't know. Yeah. It's I feel like it's a very predictable offense. One guy eats and the other guys don't. Tutu Atwell's motioned. He's good for one play for 30 yards every game. And then you have, Puka Nacua or Cooper Kupp is going to go off. The other one's not going to have a great game. Tyler Higbee's going to drop an open pass over the top and barely be used. And then that they're barely going to dump it off to the running backs. And I just feel like there's this motion. They don't run the ball with receivers anymore. So the motion just falls on deaf eyes and ears, I guess, because no one is following it. They're like, oh, okay, that's for show. And then with the rail motion that they were doing with Tutu Atwell, that was supposedly going to, really bolster the offense. They're not throwing to Tutu Atwell. So it doesn't matter. It's not doing anything.
That's the thing, Jake. It's McVay is self-inflicting wounds on his own self. And that's the thing that's bad.
Yeah.
How do you take out your best plays in the first quarter, and then you act dumbfounded I don't know what to do. Stafford just run a post. Let's run a screen. I don't know what's wrong with McVay right now. Is his son's birth really messing with him, or it's something else bigger than that? But
I don't think that's it.
It's all on him. He needs to cut some slack off himself. Why the hell do we have Matt freaking LaFleur in the building for? What is he? Is he a coffee? Does he get coffee from McVay? What the hell does he even do? Why'd you get him in the first place if you're not going to implement his scheme, his plays? Why the hell is he there?
Yeah, I mean they go through the game plan. He helps with audibles and stuff like that. And I'm sure every now and then he occasionally has like a pretty big voice in the play calling, but yeah, I mean, it needs to be better. They're predictable, and that's kind of where we're at this point. But Rusty, I appreciate you. I'm just gonna try to get through every caller here before I pass out. So appreciate you, man.
All right, Jake. Yeah.
And we'll talk next week.
All right, thanks. Appreciate it, Jake.
Absolutely. Later, my friend. All right. SoCal, how you doing? You there?
Hey, what's up?
Hey, how's it going?
Not good. Not good.
Yeah. So yeah, today sucked. There were some things that were cool, I guess, and then there were other things that weren't so cool. What's your takeaway coming from this game? How do you believe in the Rams moving forward, or did this game kind of, check you a little bit? Maybe you don't feel like this team's a playoff team.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to be like Randy from that one show, and that's a no for me, dog. But they should have beat the Steelers. They're already going on week 8. They still haven't figured it out. Kind of getting late in the season, they still haven't figured it out. So I'm kind of losing hope. We still haven't got a full 4 good quarters out of them. So, and I like in the chat we were all talking. I said like something's off. Something's off with the play calling. Stafford's not there yet. So he's not connecting with his receivers. And I agree with you. They're just trying to do like too many style points or big plays when they should just do the quick check downs or whatever is easier, whatever works.
Yeah.
And they were running the ball good, but why not run the ball when it's 3rd and 3? Like they run the ball for 2 turns, and then I was like, a play is calling, like a throw play is calling, and I'm just like,
yeah.
And so with this loss, this definitely makes me think they're not gonna go and get a veteran edge rusher because they're 3-4 now, and these guys, some of these guys in the chat think we're gonna beat Dallas. I don't think we'll beat Dallas because they still have a good defense, a solid pass rush, and this one just left a nasty taste in my mouth because the Rams win one, lose one, and they can't sustain. Like they can't go like that. They need to build off, and they haven't won 2 games in a row yet.
I agree with that. It is incredibly frustrating that they can't seem to develop any sort of win streak.
Like they lose all momentum. Like whatever little momentum they're going, they lose it. And
to be fair, they have not lost more than 2 games yet in a row. So maybe they're due with the Cowboys. I do think they'll win that game. Here's the thing. I think it only happens so much when you have a Super Bowl winning head coach. This can only happen so much before something clicks. So I do think that they're going to figure it out. And if they're not going to figure it out, then I was wrong about them. They're just not that good, and that's fine. But I do think they're going to figure it out. I do think they're going to go to the playoffs. I think it's very possible for them to be a 10-win team. They can go 7-3 the rest of the way. I think it's definitely possible. I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility. And I think that like the Cowboys are overrated. The Packers, I mean, no one on this schedule aside from the 49ers and Ravens really feel like just extremely tough opponents. I mean, Ravens in Baltimore, 49ers to wrap up the season. And if the 49ers aren't playing for the first seed, we might just see them just play like their first half guys and then bench. So they might even win that game. So I don't know. That's kind of how I'm looking at it. Like the Ravens game in Baltimore is the scariest game for me. The way the Ravens are playing, Lamar Jackson, what he did the last time we saw him against the Rams in 2019. Yeah, I don't really want to play the Ravens in Baltimore personally, but they have to.
I don't even want to play. I agree with you. So before I lose my train of thought, so I'll make a little side bet with you. I have a bad feeling if the Rams don't learn, because they still haven't learned, they're not making the playoffs. So I'll wager you a hat. Because you're saying they're gonna go 10-7.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they're gonna go 10-7. I'm starting to lose hope every game because like they need to like, I don't know. Last year they were banged up with injuries. This year they seem to be pretty healthy. O-line's better, and they still can't win games. You know, they're like, so they're losing games that should be winnable, and then they play good teams that you think they're going to get blown out, and then they play good against them. Oh, well, which one is it? Either they're good or they're not good. You know what I mean? And I just, man, when they go against the Browns, I'm kind of worried about it. You saw what's his name, Garrett, was doing to Trent, just tossing him around. Like, what's he gonna do to Alaric Jackson?
Yeah, I mean, I get that. I'll say this. The 49ers, the year the Rams won the Super Bowl and they went on that run, they started off the season 3-4 in their first 7 games. They lost the next game by 2 touchdowns. And then they ripped off by a bunch of wins here. They went 10-7. So like I'm saying, so I mean,
when they were in the Super Bowl run, when they came off the bye, they had that no win November, right?
Yeah, no, I was just talking about the Niners, but yeah, no, the Rams too.
And then the prior year, we thought we were going to be good once we came off the bye again too, and we didn't. So to me, that's already too, like, I just got to see him win a couple games back to back, and that will get me back my confidence with them. But they're not. I feel like Cooper Kupp came back. You said this, and they were actually playing better without him. Like it's almost like they were pinned in a corner, so they had to draw better plays, pass the ball out to different players. Now it's like he's back, but now it's like he's back, but then it didn't make that much of a difference, kind of. You know where I'm going with this?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you're not saying that the Rams are better without Cooper Kupp. You're just saying that like the integration of Cooper Kupp since hasn't been on the level offensively as it was without him.
Exactly. And
yeah. No, I've actually said that. I agree with that because, I mean, I think people just kind of assume it's a plug and play thing. But no, when you have the best receiver in the league when healthy and he has that good of a rapport with the quarterback's going to lean on him more than anything. Yeah. And that kind of takes you away. Now Atwell's barely getting targeted, right? Atwell was on pace to have a great season. And now it's like, what is he going to finish with? It's not going to be like a blowout season, you know? So
I said this in the chat, and I don't know. I was telling people, man, Tutu they need to involve him more because honestly, I don't think he's better than Puka, but he does have better hands. Like that guy hasn't dropped balls all year. Like whatever he gets thrown his way, he gets it. So like I just feel like they need to somehow use him because if they use him in motion, they're like, they're not going to throw him the ball. They're going to go to this guy or this guy. You know, they're kind of reverting back to not spraying the ball out. You know.
Yeah.
But I was impressed. I was impressed with the run game, even though they weren't running it when they should run, and they were throwing it when they shouldn't have thrown it. Like there were some plays where I was like, it's 3rd and 3, and they didn't run the ball. When you got Royce Freeman, that guy was wrecking them. You know, like they should just kind of stayed in there. So if I had to give a game ball, it would definitely be to the running backs and Puka, and I'm still really disappointed with Darian Kendrick, man. Like no, I lost all faith in that guy. You know what I mean?
I mean, I think he's getting flamed for a bad play, and I get that. He's got to be more disciplined in his assignment because the Rams didn't need him to undercut that route and try to go for a big play. Interception. Keep this in mind too. Everyone's getting on him, but what happens if he undercuts that route and actually picks that off? Now that's a game-changing play. The narrative changes. I mean, I think really in that sense, it's a 3rd and 8. You don't do anything crazy. I think you just, go right ahead, let him catch that ball and then make the tackle. And then it's now 4th and 2 and they're likely going to punt it away. I think that was the issue with that play, is that he's trying to undercut a 3rd and 8 when in reality you just need to stop him.
Yeah. And then, so what's your call? Do the Rams do they move on from Maher, or do they just keep him?
I don't get the feeling they're going to move on from him because I don't know who else that you could bring in. That's the thing.
Yeah,
who are you going to bring in? Gold wants $8 million a year. You can't give $8 million a year to a kicker. So it's like,
Because I mean, if they're gonna keep playing teams and they're gonna be losing by field goal, that's gonna come bite them in the butt. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, I'm not so optimistic on the Rams. So I'll just leave with this because I know you got some other guys, but I don't see the Rams going into Jerry World beating the Cowboys off of their bye. I could be wrong, but their pass rush, And I will say this too, the O-line held up pretty good. Like, I just don't know why Stafford's not making those throws. Like, they were giving him enough time to make the plays, and he just wasn't connecting.
Yeah, I mean, there were a lot of guys that didn't really play their best game today. There were guys that did. This is one of the toughest losses, I would say. But we move, man. I appreciate you, and SoCal, we'll talk soon.
All right, Jake, you take care, bro, and we'll definitely catch you guys for the next, whatever stream you got going on. Always check in, and I do hope they get the win because, they got to stay afloat, man.
Absolutely. All right, man.
All right, guys.
You be well.
Later, bro. All right, thank you. Bye.
All right, bye. HAV, how you doing?
What's up? How you doing, Jake?
Good. Thank you for your patience, man. I'm sorry I'm fading here.
No, that's cool, man. I get it.
All right. So what were your thoughts on the game today?
I mean, what do you want me to say, right? Definitely disappointed. I would say after this game, I feel worse than I did last week. I would say last week I felt pretty even, maybe a little better, but not super great. I really liked Hendo. I was very surprised by Royce. I think Akello shocked us. I'm going to give him a pass, but it was kind of a tough game. Obviously, it was a crappy call on the ref for that PI, but in general, it was just kind of messy. And I don't necessarily agree with all of McVay's plays, or his calls, rather. But he said it in like his interviews. It's like, hey, we should have. It shouldn't have come down to ref calls. We should have done more. We could have done more. This isn't the entire team. Cooper said it in an interview. He's like, hey, this team has a lot of talent. It's frustrating because we can do a lot more, but we didn't. So that's just kind of like generally how I feel.
Yeah, it's very frustrating when you feel like, this team has just way too much talent. I mean, obviously this team has way too much talent for Cooper Kupp to have 230 yards or 30 yards or whatever he had. Now, moving forward, do you think this team is a playoff team, or how do you see it?
I would say they're a team that belong in the playoffs. I don't know if they're going to make it just based off of like this inconsistency. It just kind of almost feels like one of those LA curses, coming off that Dodgers playoffs, I'm just kind of like, I don't know. It's just tough. It's like, personally, I would be shocked if we got to 10. I would say 9 wins would be lucky. I'm gonna guess around 8 wins. But it's just because something like a Steelers game, I don't think you should be throwing this. I think the Cowboys, if we can beat the Cowboys, I'd be shocked. I'm gonna chalk up the Ravens and the Niners to an L.
Big time.
Personally, I think the Commanders might be an L too. Like a really tight game, but I'm thinking around 9 games at best. I think they have to really tighten up the offense. Obviously, Kyron would make a lot of a much bigger difference in terms of the run game. I really liked what we got from Hendo. I was shocked by Royce. But I will say, like, I think McVay kept punching it up like the 4 hole or whatever it was. And it was like, okay, punch up the 4 hole, 2 yards. Punch up the 4 hole, lose 1 yard. Punch it up again, 1 yard. And it just kind of felt like, they didn't mix anything up. Obviously, we didn't utilize 2-2 the way we should have. The jet sweep everyone's been talking about in the chat for like a good minute. Yeah, I don't know. I just think that we should have given it a little bit more diversity and just kind of applied that more. Obviously, there was terrible calls.
Oh yeah, it was bad.
I saw that. I posted the whole Pickett, the Pickett knee in the chat a few times. But yeah,
wasn't even close. I don't even know how you missed that.
Yeah,
I mean, Craig Rolstad is just horrible at his job.
It was not ideal, but the hardest part is that even though that was the case and like in the moment I was like really upset, this team should be 10 points ahead of that, and we all know that.
Yeah, it's frustrating.
And that's the hardest part is like you see so much potential, and like Puka went off today too. Like Puka really delivered. I forgot how many yards he got, but I knew he was well over 150.
Yeah.
And Tutu got his touchdown, and we all know they should start to put him in the mix, like really consider him as like a primary option because, a lot of coverage on Cooper, a lot of coverage on Puka, and I'm gonna be honest, we saw like maybe 2 or 3 times I was like, okay, there was a lot of hands on Puka. Maybe a holding, maybe a PI, but a lot of grabbing of his forearm, like a lot of grabbing, a lot of swatting, a lot of aggression, which could have gone either way. Definitely subjective, but between him and Cooper, like they're all over them. It's like if you have Tutu just kind of fly around, that could be a good 5 yards, 10 yards, and obviously people are talking about deep routes, but yeah, I would say if between Stafford and McVay, if they can eye in on like 5-yard routes, slants, outs, digs, like 5 and outs, or option routes where it's like 5 yards or 12 yards. That would definitely mix things up instead of trying to go for deep routes every single time, or just like a
totally agree.
Punch it up the hole. So
yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's frustrating, man. I appreciate you coming on. This is just it definitely helps doing this like more than people would think, like because I've been asked like, man, you have to go live after watching something like that, and I'm like, yeah, but like at the same time it's almost like therapeutic. You get to talk to people, get their thoughts, and kind of talk through it,
Well, that's what we've all been talking about in like the Discord right now. It's been all venting about what we're thinking, and yeah, I mean, okay, so yes, people have their gripes about DK, and I would say prior to this week, I was like just on the bandwagon, like, I'm sick of it. I'm sick of all the face masks and the personal fouls and all the holding, anything like that, right?
Yes.
But after looking at it, past all that, and watching your video and all these things, and looking up those stats, yeah, he's not a bad cornerback. Yeah, he has some slip ups, but yeah, in general, he's not bad. Obviously, this week he gave up some explosives, and that's not necessarily acceptable. But let's be honest, there was a lot going on through his head this week. So I don't want to throw DK out, that's for sure. It'd be interesting to see what Duke Shelley can bring, but at the same time, they should still work DK in because he's got potential there. It's just if he can get a hold of himself, and he's also like 23.
Yeah, so, no, he's a young guy, and I mean, if you look, we'll wait until the stats come out and everything, and the film's out, and we can really evaluate. But I mean, if you really look at it, like he was good pretty much the entire game except for that one play where, I mean, yeah, okay, he gave up a couple, but you have to understand something, not you, but just in general. Like, if you're not getting the pressure on Kenny Pickett, he can hit that back shoulder fade all day long. I don't think people realize how good Kenny Pickett is at playing this position. He is like ice cold in, veins and everything in crunch time. He was unbelievable down the stretch. And that's a big reason why the Steelers won the game.
Yeah, I think Pickett and Pickens are very on and off, where it's like they're kind of sloppy, and then all of a sudden it's just like the end. You're like,
it just clicks.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Just boom, 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 and now they have 65 yards. What are we gonna do? They're in the red zone. So
exactly.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, yeah, we could talk about DK, but like even like I said, like Akello had a really tough game. So just like momentum wise, it's kind of a sloppy game in general. And okay, well, you know what? I'm gonna throw it out there. Yeah, Maher.
Oh yeah, he just God.
Okay, so I've been talking a lot in the chat. I'm like, can we just pull like a third or fourth string kicker from Modern Day in Santa Ana, California, like a high school 18-year-old kicker? Just get them to kick a PAT for us. Because that would be great. There's definitely a lot of high school Orange County, California kickers that can kick a 45-yard, maybe a 52. Maybe.
I do think Maher is pretty good. I just think today was bad, but
today was rough. Today was definitely rough. I mean, I get it. Yeah, I get it. I think that if he made one field goal out of all of that, I think that this would be a very different game. It would have shifted momentum, and field positioning would be a lot different.
I absolutely agree, because it completely changes the game. That's why you can't just be like, oh, he missed 7 points worth. So if he didn't miss that, we would have tied, and then we would have that. Like, no, you can't go that far ahead.
7 points in like 25 yards.
Yeah, the thing that
on the 40, 45-yard line.
Exactly. It's like, I don't know. The thing is, like, when people do that and they like just take the points and they add them, it's like, no, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, if he kicks the field goal, the entire rest of the game is called differently because the situations alter entirely. Maybe you're not running here. Maybe you're throwing here. It's just, it's tough, man.
Yeah. And like, also, it's like playing high school football myself. It's like, momentum is very much so a thing in sports, and like it's like if you have that momentum shift and that consistency of like, oh, we have the 45, we have our own 45, all of a sudden you have this adrenaline. You're like, oh, well, we got this. Okay, let's just run like an out route. Let's run a post. It's cool. Like, throw it out there. Who cares, right? Because now it's like, okay, we only need like 30 yards to get a field goal, or 40 yards or whatever. It's a little different. It's like when you do that every single time where you're constantly missing these kicks, it's like all of a sudden the opposing offense is like, okay, time to drill it. And like, no one's really that concerned. It's not like they're on the defense or on the offense. They're not fighting to not lose. They're fighting to win. So that kind of changes the whole momentum.
Yeah, no, absolutely, man. But I am going to let you go because I need to get through 2 more people. And then, like I said, I'm going right to bed. So
yeah, for sure, man.
Appreciate you, my friend. And feel free to call in anytime.
For sure, Jake. You have a good night. Peace.
You too. Later. All right. El Palau, how you doing?
Hello.
Appreciate you and your patience.
Yeah. It's my first time here, so.
Well, welcome. Glad you're here. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna ask you 2 quick questions. I do have to get going, so I gotta kind of speed it up. But first question: what'd you think about today's game?
Very, very tough loss. I see it more as an offensive problem more than a defensive problem, really.
100%
lack of creativity,
for me.
lack of play calling, like good, consistent play calling. So, like, we would see 2021, 2022, we would have Cup in the backfield, right? He would run routes, match up with linebackers, safeties, stuff like that. I haven't seen that once this season.
Yeah.
Jet sweep, haven't seen that at all. And lack of play action, too. There were times where they were stacking the box because we were consistently getting 4 or 5 yards and stuff like that, and we just couldn't get anything popping.
Yeah, it was, man, frustrating game to watch. I totally agree with everything you just said. I just feel like the offense is just like really predictable at this point. I mean, you know, you have fans that are watching that are texting other fans or tweeting about it, like predicting the next play, and they're right. I mean, you know, obviously we're not going to be able to predict the entire play, like everything, the whole structure and everything, but I mean, just like simple things like, oh, here comes the bubble screen on third and whatever. Like the fact that everyone in the stadium knows that probably tells you shouldn't be running it. So, yeah, it was definitely frustrating. I feel like the defense is playing way better than to give up 24 points, but I think they got, you know, it wasn't even like they were gassed, right? It's not that I feel like they were on the field too long, because that wasn't the case. I just feel like momentum mattered so much in this one. It always matters in football, but this game especially, like, you know, the Rams not getting touchdowns, there just wasn't a lot to celebrate about. They got 2 touchdowns, but they kept moving the ball and just, you know, stalling out right before the red area, and it's hard to win games like that. But the second question I had for you, the final question I had for you was, what are your thoughts on this team moving forward? Do you think this is still a playoff team? Did you ever think this was a playoff team? Like, where are you on the Rams?
Well, yeah, this is definitely a playoff team, but
okay,
there are things that they can easily get fixed. You know, they're gonna have these small issues where, you know, someone misses a tackle or someone's short on interception, something like that, or drop balls, but things like missing kicks, that can't happen at all. 7 points left off the board, that could have, you know, that's a tied game right there, and that's easily what we had 2 defensive stops towards the end of the game that we could have had a score on, maybe a field goal on. We can't have stuff like that.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I agree with you. I think they're a playoff team that, you know, first off, they're a playoff team because the NFC is so weak that I feel like when people say there's no way they can make the playoffs, I mean, just look at who they have, like, you know, around them right now. You know, you got the Commanders, you got the Saints, you got, you know, the Giants, the Vikings, the Bears. I mean, just these teams are like, okay, the Buccaneers. I mean, the Falcons. I don't know. It's just, I don't really feel like, if we're looking at the top teams in the NFC right now, the Rams are the 8th seed in the NFC playoffs. If the season ended today, they'd be out of the playoffs. But that's not a bad spot to be week 7. Because right now, you know, you have the Niners, you have the Eagles, you have the Lions, you have the Seahawks, you have the Cowboys, you have the Falcons, the Buccaneers. Now, obviously, that needs to be reseeded. So what you would have is the 49ers, the Eagles, the Dolphins, or I don't know why I said the Dolphins, Detroit Lions. Then you'd have the Falcons, okay? 5th seed would be Seahawks, 6th seed will be the Cowboys, and the 7th seed would be the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who, by the way, had a bye, so we don't know if they're going to be a 3-4 or 4-3 team. So the Rams are next. The Rams have tiebreakers over Washington, New Orleans, and then you have the Vikings and Packers, who are 2-4. The Giants are 2-5. The Bears are 2-5. The Arizona Cardinals are 1-6, and the Carolina Panthers are 0-6. So the Rams' only teams they have to fight for to get into the playoffs, in my opinion, the Falcons, the Bucks, the Cowboys, the Seahawks, the Commanders, the Saints, and I just don't feel like, I don't know, if you're picking 3 out of those teams, like, I don't see why that can't be one of those, can't be the Rams. I just don't, look at like the Commanders. They have a negative 50 point differential. The Saints have a +6. The Rams have a +14. Buccaneers have a negative. The Falcons have a negative. And the Cowboys have a +54. And Seattle has a +26. But the Rams already beat Seattle. So it's like the Rams beat the Cowboys this week. That's the thing. This week, This is a must win if there ever was one, because they have to get back on the right track, and they need to also win this tiebreaker. They need to get this tiebreaker, lock it in against Dallas. I'm telling you right now, because Dallas is 4-3. If the Rams win, 4-2. If the Rams win next week, they're 4-4. Dallas goes to 4-3, and of course they had the bye, so they'll catch up. And the Rams have the tiebreaker over the Dallas Cowboys head to head. So that's a huge thing there. You got to be able to secure that.
They're also going in a very hostile environment, which is NTT Stadium, I believe, right?
It'll go to Dallas. I actually trust them more there, believe it or not.
Yeah, very hostile environment, going against a very good defense. Offense, I believe we can keep them under wraps. I'm not worried about Dak Prescott and their O-line and stuff like that. And this team has been very battle tested too. They went against two of the top teams in the NFC and almost won both games against two amazing D lines, amazing fronts that we've kept under wraps until third, fourth quarter. So this O line has been playing phenomenal in the run game, phenomenal in the pass pro. And another note on that, we kept TJ Watt to zero sacks, maybe one or two pressures he had. Rob Havenstein did a great job with TJ Watt today. Glad with that, happy with that. It just goes to show you that this O line can stand up to these elite fronts.
Yeah.
So that's big positive.
No, I think you and I definitely are on the same page here. I'm just, I'm hoping they can get together, beat Dallas, move on. I think they can. I think they will. But that's a huge game for the Rams. That's going to decide a lot, because if they, go into the Packers game 3-5, that means they're going to the bye below 500. And that, I don't think they can do that. So we'll see. We'll also see if they end up trading for anybody. I don't know if they're going to. Maybe losing today probably hurts that. But yeah, I appreciate you coming on, man.
Yep, appreciate you having me.
Absolutely. We'll have to touch base next week.
Hell yeah.
All right. You take care.
You too.
Thanks. Bye-bye. All right. Ian.
Yo, what's good, man?
Oh man, I am hanging on here. I saved you. I saved you for last because I'm like, man, you're probably just gonna drive this conversation at this point. But yeah, they ran the ball.
Sure, man. Yeah, and look at Jake. I mean, I'll start with the positives. I've heard some of your guests every now and then. I've tuned in. I was rewatching some of our highlights and lowlights to see what I could see without watching the all 22. So positives. Darrell Henderson ran well and pass protected well. Great to see. He should be the lead guy going forward until Kyron's back. And even when Kyron's back, Darrell should get split time. I think Darrell's a starting running back, and for him not being on a team all these months, getting back to last season, it's kind of crazy. I don't understand. So that's a good positive. Young Nakua stepping up. That's a positive. I think Rob Havenstein individually on TJ Watt was a positive looking back at the game. I think that Jordan Fuller had a nice game, and he's been having a nice season. Other than that, there's just, where I stand about the non-home field advantage. It's killer, dude. I was there today as well, and it's 70-30, and it's, think about it, Jake. Every home loss other than the Arizona game, we've been outnumbered severely in these matchups, and it matters. I mean, to anyone out there who thinks that doesn't matter just because they're pro athletes and, get over it. You go to away games in tough environments and you figure it out. Well, guys, when the opponent is coming to your place and they feel like it's a home game, that matters. It boosts their morale and their energy and their spirit. And it takes away from the home teams who is fighting that opposing, force, you could say. It's disappointing, and we've talked about it a bunch. It's going to take years and years of winning for that to subside. So what are the negatives, Jake? I just think the play calling is so basic, and I've been holding my tongue on that until I've gotten a good sample size. And don't you agree? Now we're seven. We're many weeks in. We're pushing the halfway point, and no jet sweeps. We're running the same duo run gap concept over and over, and it works. But it's like, where's the variety? There's trap, there's wham, there's power, there's G power. We can go on and on and on. It's the same passing concepts, Jake. It's the smash concept. It's the sail concept. It's the dig concept. Obviously, in different looks and formations. It's the choice route with cup, but it's the same 10 plays and just in a slightly different variation. And what a shock defenses have figured it out. I mean, Jake, I saw a stat earlier, and everybody out there, which is, I can't believe it, but I do believe it. The Rams are averaging 19 points a game right now, which is the exact same last year when Stafford and Cup were officially out for the season. We are the same level of production of scoring points this season with all the firepower and talent that we have as we were last year when everybody was hurt. It's unacceptable. It's so unacceptable, Jake. I mean, what are your thoughts on all that? I mean, it's just ugh.
Yeah, I mean, it's to your point. It's just not acceptable. I mean, those are my thoughts. I just think that there's no excuse. They don't use Tutu Atwell enough. He's just become Tavon Austin.
Yeah.
Which, by the way,
honestly,
he's not. He's 100% better.
No,
and
he's way better.
He honestly is a 100% starting receiver, but he's not even playing the Brandon Cooks role. He's playing the Tavon Austin, running the jet motion, never giving it to him, and no one biting on it anymore.
I know it's not good, man. It's just
like in the rail motion that Tyreek Hill uses, that gets him those like open releases, and just he already has a head start. I don't even know how you stop it. That's what I don't understand, Ian. Is like, I'm watching this team. I'm like, how is this team stopped? Like, how is this team like? And I think that today like really annoyed me, because I was like, it's not even just for style points, like, because you need to win these games. This isn't college football. How is Cooper Kupp ever having a 29-yard game? How is Tutu Atwell only having one catch for 31 yards and only getting one target the rest of the game? How is Tyler Higbee getting 7 yards? How is Darrell Henderson only used one time in the receiving game? That's another thing, by the way. I think that's on Stafford, because Goff, if you notice early on in Sean McVay's, I know Sean McVay has changed up his offense, but Goff looked for Todd Gurley. Now, I think there's not enough design slip screens, but Goff.
I mean, Jake. Go on, Jake.
I mean, there's actually zero. Let's just be honest here. They don't have any design running back slip screens. It's all bubble, and they use and explain that to me. They use bubble with Puka Nacua, who's got the least short area quickness of any of them. Stopping like to 0 to 60. Like, when you talk about the acceleration, like, why are you not doing that with Tutu Atwell? I don't get it. And to your point, like the offense is just so predictable. Like, you have these motions, but if you never give the defense different looks, like if you're just going to keep motioning Atwell but not handing it off to Atwell, well, then they don't care. And so that's the thing. And it's like, man, I thought Royce looked really good today. I thought Darrell looked really good today. And I think Darrell today was a great example of why you can't just go by yards per carry average, because the 3.4 doesn't tell the full story. I thought he ran really hard.
No, not at all.
He created after the contact. And then I think the Steelers started stacking the box, and we saw that.
Well, Jake, we're running duo, and for anyone out there who doesn't know what duo is, it's basically a fullback kicking out the edge defender and everyone else man blocking and double teaming. And that's not like man double like in zone. It's like a designated, like, that's your guy. We're not going to an area like in zone. So duo, we have no fullback anymore. We just totally trashed the Skowronek I formation, which is ridiculous. We use Higbee or the receivers, and we run them on a jet motion, so they have a running start, which I like. And then we leave the edge defender unblocked, where that guy in the fast, quick motion will pick him out. And that is the duo run play, okay, everybody? We run that play over and over and over, and it works most times. But where's the variation? Defenses are going to figure out, hey, squeeze into this hole here, Set your boundary here, and then teams figure it out. That's the main issue. Is that you can say, oh, Darrell didn't get this. Oh, Royce Freeman didn't get this yardage. Well, shoot, Jake, if you and I were play callers and we ran the same 2 run plays over and over, just a slightly different look, teams are going to figure it out. This is the pros. I just think McVay's lost the juice. He's lost the juice, dude, with his play calling. He's really lost it, and it's cost us multiple games. And
what sucks is I think he's a fantastic head coach, but I thought he should have given up the play calling this year. I thought he should have given it to Mike LaFleur, but whatever.
We're now a season, and it was now a year and a half worth of football where the play calling has been basic. Can't have the excuse that people were hurt. People are not hurt now, and your play calling is still simplistic in terms of what it should be expected of this type of coach, this modern day era. Because this is another thing, Jake. People don't think about this. This West Coast new age passing offense, everyone in the league runs it now. It's not like 2017 and 2018 where it was just Kyle Shanahan and just Sean McVay. Think about the tree branch of this offense that has grown. We have McDaniels in Miami, and he obviously has his own spin on it. Shanahan, us, LaFleur with the Packers, O'Connell with the Vikings. We have now Thomas Brown with the Panthers. We have, who am I blanking on right now? We have Bengals head coach Zach Taylor. We can go on and on. This offense, no matter who has their spin on it with which team, it's out there. Everyone plays against it now. We can't be running the same 10 passing concepts, just slightly different. We can't be running the same 5 running plays. We need more variation. It's just frustrating, and this is why we're 3 wins only into this season where we should have at least another 2 minimum. So it's complicated, and we'll see what happens going forward, Jake, because if this thing doesn't get changed with the diversity in the play calling to keep teams' defenses honest, we're going to lose a lot more games, and there's no playoffs happening. There's no trades happening. There's nothing. The season's going to end like, oh, yeah, the experts were right, I guess. This team wasn't really good at all, even though they have a chance to be really good. That's what's frustrating at the end of it.
No, I agree with that. Just want to give a shout out to, I didn't even realize, I guess I'm not getting alerts for some of these. Hilltop, thank you for the 2. Thanks for reaching out about my dog, brother. Absolutely, man. Prayers go out to you. I can't even imagine what you're going through, but I'm here for you. Quintana, appreciate the 5. Ronnie, appreciate the 2. Must beat Cowboys to remain a playoff team, in my opinion. I agree with you there. Appreciate that. And Jeffy Moto, appreciate the 5. Yeah, Ian, I feel like we're at a point where this weekend upcoming against the Cowboys is it. If they don't win that game,
I was just gonna say we agree. We see that eye to eye, Jake, because this is it.
Like I'm so tired of like every single game is a must-win game. Okay, whatever. No, this is it because this is going to determine whether or not. First off, it's impossible to go above 500 going into the bye without winning this game. Let me just make that very clear. So the goal is trying to get above 500, go into the bye, figure shit out in the bye, right? But you have a above 500, and then you're going to go up against teams like Arizona again. You're going to go up against teams like Washington and the Saints, who I think the Rams should beat. But here's the thing, though. If they lose this game, they're no different than last year. They started off 3-5. So,
which is just so insane.
It's like, man, and then that's a whole other conversation because, I mean, I'll just say this. You can say that, oh, this team lacks talent and, okay, so, margin for error and all that. I've heard this, okay? The margin for error is very slim. I get it. We have to stop using that. The margin for error is slim, not because of the talent on the roster. It's because of when you're playing a 49er team or an Eagles team, right? You're playing a top-tier team, and they have more talent than you. The margin for error shouldn't be slim against the Steelers. I'm sorry. I've watched the Steelers. The Steelers have only won games this year because of their defense, period. If they don't get that pick, to start the second half, this is probably a blowout. I'm not even going to lie to you. Like, it was a stupid, forceful throw. And it's frustrating because you hear the same regurgitated stuff like, oh, well, this and that. And it's like, no, it's very simple. Right now, the Rams defense is doing everything that they can to stay alive. And the Rams offense is just like last year. no one wants to admit it because Cooper Kupp's healthy, Stafford's healthy, Tutu Atwell's developing, Puka Nacua is one of the best receivers in football. But I don't care who is running the ball. This is no different than last year right now. The offense is not putting enough points on the board. The defense, coached by Raheem Morris, now even as the offense gets less explosive because it's gotten worse, now Raheem can't use that more aggressive style, the aggressive style on his defense. Like, he's not really able to do the match zone. He's not really able to have guys in man. Really, we're going to start to see it soon. They're going to have to play soft zone just to stay in games again. And
I know
they have not been doing that. People keep saying, "Oh, I'm tired of Raheem Morris's bend don't break." They're not playing that, right? That's not what they're playing.
Jake, we know everyone doesn't watch film like you and I do, and some other fans. This is, they're just going off of their past pain, right?
Yeah,
and that's really it. I mean, look, hey, everybody out there, Jake does great film breakdowns. Tune in and let's educate our fan base a little bit about what's going on schematically, and you'll see how the offense is basic and how the defense is not. So,
Raheem
dude,
is
it's a shame.
Just putting the team on his back, honestly, with what he's been able to do with that defense.
Yeah, I mean, it's looking, man. I if I was a defensive player, I would feel some type of way. I wouldn't be some inner revolt. I'm not talking about none of that, but it'd be like, we have Coach McVay, Matthew Stafford. We have a triple crown winner. We have a possible Rookie of the Year. We have one of the fastest receivers in the league, and it's like, what is happening? How can this team not win us some games? You know what I'm saying? If I were a Ram defender right now, and Jalen Ramsey was outspoken about that last year multiple times, and he wasn't wrong. I'll be whack, and we can go. I mean, obviously that was a dark hole of sad abyss.
It's funny. I was thinking that about the Vikings, and now the Rams are basically the Vikings.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I mean,
man.
their defense is better, but
to your point about true, and to your point about the standings and must win. Cowboys currently, as of today, are the 6th seed.
Yeah.
Seahawks are 5th. Buccaneers are 7th. We lost today and we got dropped to the 8th seed. We control our own destiny, man. We handle Seattle in a month. We handle Dallas next week. We have the tiebreakers, and we be a wild card team.
Well, that's the thing, is that people don't, like, when people are like, "Oh, you think this team is a playoff team, you're Delulu." I'm like, well, here's the thing, okay? The teams, they play Dallas, they play Seattle, they play Washington, they play the Saints, they play the Packers. They're playing all the Giants even, because the Giants, I mean, if their defense keeps it up and their offense figures it out, they have a shot. But they play all those teams. So they don't have, unfortunately, they can't get a tiebreaker, head-to-head tiebreaker on the Buccaneers or the Falcons, right? But
but there's enough common opponents in the conference that we could have that tiebreaker, if we handle.
Yes, yeah, but like playing them,
it's
of
like,
course.
Damn, dude.
Yeah,
I know, of course, what you mean. Yes.
Yeah, but like the way I see it is like when do you get this opportunity playing the Giants, the Packers, the Saints, the Commanders, the Dallas Cowboys, the Seahawks? I mean, that's a lot of tiebreakers that you can lock in.
Oh yeah, it's in our graph still, man. And so I know today and past weeks, it's depressing. It's depressing as a Rams fan, but it's in our control, man. And we have the players and we have the coaching staffs that are both equally as talented and equally as smart. Like, get together and expand the offense, and we'll win more games. It's really that simple, Jake. I think you would agree with that. And
yeah,
there's still a lot of things. I still think real quick about the O-line. I still think the O-line does not handle blitz or stunts really well, and it showed up today in previous games. I think when we're facing a straight-up rush, they block really well. Think about the Eagles when they were doing that. Think about the 49er game until they started to blitz and stun. That's when things go to hell when Matthew Stafford gets, flimsical with pressure and starts making bad throws and bad decisions. That's something to work on. And defense, we can't ask any more of them. Just can't.
Yeah, and I thought Royce and Hendo picked up plenty of blitz pickups. They were great. I'm really curious to see the stats on PFF. I mean, obviously, all 22, it goes without saying, but I'm really curious to see the stats on PFF. Yeah. I think one thing I want to say before I let you go and wrap up the show, wanted to get your thoughts on that throw to Tutu Atwell, because people were saying that's off script. He's just heaving it. I don't think Stafford's ever just heaving it. Okay, I think Stafford, and correct me if I'm wrong, and obviously we need the all-22 to know for sure. But what I think happened,
Oh yeah, that'll tell the tale.
what I think happened was Tutu Atwell was flattening out his route. Okay, and I think Stafford was always going to throw to Tutu, and I think Sean McVay drew up a beautiful play, knowing that he was going to have Kupp going to the back pylon on that fade. And I think that, when he goes to the back pylon, it's drawn up to bring the attention of Tutu Atwell's defender. And it worked. You saw him peel off Tutu, and he goes towards Kupp, and Tutu flattened out the route, and it made it, got him wide open. The reason I say this is because I think it was Dan Orlovsky was saying it. They were saying it was like Derek Carr threw a pass. Everyone's like, oh, Derek Carr underthrew it. No, Derek Carr was throwing the route that basically he flattened it out on his own, knowing that, okay, I have two guys over the top. I can get this guy underneath. And, so everyone was saying, oh, well, he has a noodle arm. But it was by design. I think that was by design. Is that crazy?
I don't think it's crazy, and I'm looking back at the replay here. I'm trying to find a great angle of it because it doesn't sound crazy at all. That's very likely, to be honest, with everything you just explained. Why I think on the other side of the coin that it might not be scripted, purposely, is that so pressure by Highsmith made Matthew reverse pivot spin out to his left, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And he's obviously looking, all right, well, it's end of the game, or end of the half, I should say, and then let's see what happens. So what I'm looking at here real quick, everybody, we have Tutu and Kupp in a stack. The stack is basically one receiver is kind of half in front of the other, okay? Tutu's the inside guy, and he has an outside release, and he shakes the corner, and he's running a corner route, which is, 10 yards and running like if you're running to the pylon, right?
Mm-hmm.
Kupp has a choice route, but he chooses to run a quick slant. That's his choice. Things go to hell, and you see Kupp and Tutu both start running to the end zone. And I think Kupp was the original target, and I think Tutu just so happened to be in that area and just caught it, man. That's kind of what it looks like. And obviously the film overall, the broad picture will tell the tale truly.
Yeah.
But to me, real quick, just looking back at this, I think it was just an effort to Kupp, and Tutu just so happened to be right there, honestly.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that because I only saw it a couple times. Yeah. And I saw when they were doing it.
Route is a corner. Yeah, corner by Tutu, a choice route by Kupp. He chose to run a quick slant. Things went to hell, and they both broke off running to the end zone, and then they happened to just meet at that kind of same 5-yard area of each other, and Tutu was just there.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Because I actually.
Hey, we'll take the points. Cool, but.
Yeah. No. Absolutely. I mean, God. Thank God.
If anyone's wondering where I'm looking at this, go to the LA Rams YouTube channel. Go to their highlights for today's video, and go to about the 3-minute mark, and that's kind of where that whole play is unfolding. There's an angle, which is everything I just saw right now, of Kupp and Tutu being filmed that entire time up until the touchdown. So look back at that, everybody. You can make your own decision whether that was planned or not. But to me, real quick, I think that was freelancing, and it worked out. Shoot.
Yeah, I don't mind that at all. You know me, I'll admit when I'm wrong. I really felt like when I was watching it, that's what they were doing. But I also didn't see the play.
No, I think so too. But.
Yeah, I think the broadcast view, I'd love it if they could mix in more behind the quarterback views. You know what I mean? I don't know, the broadcast view.
Cool. Oh, you do Amazon Prime, do Prime, right? They have the all 22 highlight.
Yeah, I mean it's already there. I don't know why we don't have especially so with Sunday Ticket. You know how you have those four the quad boxes or whatever. Why not have all 22 available? I don't know. It's being filmed. It's already there. So it's I don't know why.
Yeah,
I don't know, man. But anyway,
I know. Hey, it's billionaires just being lazy about our entertainment.
Oh my God,
Jake, I know it's late over there. I know we can go down that rabbit hole about sports television and how
how
okay and how
NFL
not okay
Plus
it is.
doesn't have the opportunity to go back in time and watch all those old games, even though they're all in the archive. They're basically not making any money off it.
It's crazy, dude. I know.
How do you let the 1950s Greatest Show on Grass Rams? How do you let that just kind of sit in your archive? Do you know how many people would be interested in that? Like, I'm fascinated with the idea. Like, how did Elroy Crazy Legs Hirsch have 1,400 yards in a 12-game season? Like, I actually want to see that.
No, dude.
You know,
I think it used to be better when the NFL Network was really on fire back when we were both younger, our young teens, where they were doing a lot of, if anyone remembers that era, it was a lot of really great documentaries, half hour, some hour and a half too. There was a lot of top tens. Anyone remember those? Like the top 10 craziest catches or the top 10 whatever up until that point, obviously.
Oh yeah.
But they were much more on top of the history of the game, and that's what made me really truly fall in love with football. Made me want to play at a young age was watching games, and then obviously watching NFL Network and the history and just all that. So yeah, they need to step up their game, and hopefully somebody in the NFL Network's listening right now.
Yeah.
Tuning in, but I agree. But yeah, long story short, Jake, I'll end it on this. So I know you're East Coast time. I'm still West Coast. We're only 7:30 out here. But
jealous.
Hey man, I agree. Must yeah. Hey dude, you're passionate and you're on point. So I get it. But to win next week, dude, it's really simple. Everybody, it's diversify the offense, and we'll beat Dallas. It's really that simple. Because we can execute, but we can't execute running the same 20 plays. Teams will catch on. We're in the pros, everybody. You can't out execute a team with the same concept over and over and over for 4 quarters. You just can't do it. There's too much talent in this league. You just can't do it. So we start doing more things, which we could do. We have the players to do it. We have the O-line to do it. We can beat Dallas. And if we look on the film after next week and we lose and it's the same 20 to 25 plays, then we'll know why we lost.
Yeah.
If we do that, we can beat Dallas. It's really that simple at the end of the day. The defense, I think defense will do their part enough. It's all in the offense. Can we run more than the same 20 plays? If we do that, we can beat Dallas. Simple.
I agree, man. Well, hey, appreciate you. I'll get everybody ready, or at least try to, best of my ability throughout the week. A lot of content. A lot of content to put out. We'll see.
Yeah, and everybody out there. A lot of content and yeah, man. And Jake, I don't know and shout out to LA Rams Up Pod. I'm starting to do weekly spots with them. Mark Burns, Tom Kurtz, your friend, your former colleague at Downtown Rams. I don't know if he's still doing things with you at all, but him, and we're doing some other guests. It's a good show. Anybody that's interested, it's on all your podcast networks that you can think of, or apps, I should say, Spotify, Apple, and others. It's part of the TSN network. If I'm saying that wrong, apologies. And anybody want more content? Definitely tune in on Wednesday afternoons. The episode will be out, and obviously I've watched the film. We'll get good feedback. You'll know the nitty gritty. And if you ever want to tune in too, Jake, on that, I mean, you can always talk with Tom. I'm sure you guys could figure that out and join a spot every once in a while. That'd be cool.
Yeah, no, that's awesome, man. I actually didn't know that, so congrats. But yeah, I think that's gonna do it. And I'll see you guys next week. I'll see you throughout the week, but I obviously had to stop live streaming as much JE Live just because for my health. So we've kept it.
Of course, man. You gotta keep the eyes healthy and the voice healthy.
Yeah, no, I really feel that. But there'll be Downtown Rams, Believe in Rams, Off the Edge next week. I'll be on Bleacher Report for Off the Edge on Friday with Cam, and then Sunday the usual Rams Bleacher Report post game, and then back on YouTube to talk about Rams and Cowboys. And that'll be that. Obviously, various videos throughout the week. I never know what I'm going to put out until I put it out. So, yeah, that's it.
Hey, yeah, Jay, keep cranking, man. Keep doing this the fan base. Great service as usual, man. And we'll see. Hopefully, our conversation next week will be in a more positive light. Jesus.
I know it robbed all my joy from getting all the Henderson hate and then getting all the Henderson love.
And to all the Henderson haters out there, come on, guys, tune into the film sessions. Watch a little bit of all 22. Henderson's the starting running back. Get off Jake's ass and everyone else's ass.
I tried to tell him, man. 18 carries. You come off the streets, you get 18 carries. Yeah, that's impressive. But all right, guys.
I'm team Hendo, man. So.
Hey, I love it. I'm not shocked though. You watch the tape. Most people that watch tape are team Hendo. I don't think there's a coincidence there, but
oh, of course.
But hey, appreciate you, and I'll hopefully catch you next week.
Yeah, heck yeah, Jake. Good talking with you. We'll chat next week. And the Rams win, damn it. Run the damn ball.
Yeah. Later, my friend. All right, guys. So that is it. I got through everybody, and I'm still alive. I'm still awake, so that's cool. And I am going to be around this week. So if you have any questions or anything, you can pop my DMs. I know people already do that, so feel free to do that. If you have any requests for videos, drop them in the comment section. Believe it or not, the Darion Kendrick video that I made, I had already done all the research, but I got so busy, and then someone put it in my comments section, hey, can you do the Darion Kendrick video you talked about? It reminded me, and then I did the Darion Kendrick video. So if you got anything interesting, just throw it in there. But I need some sleep. So I'm going to see you guys on the flip. Everyone enjoy your night. I'm sorry it didn't go well today, but we move. All right. Thank you, Kick users. Thank you, YouTube users. And I'll see you guys in the next one.